The race to the Winston Cup Championship took some wild turns last Sunday at Watkins Glen. Tony Stewart ended up in victory lane, and the point race for the 2002 Winston Cup Championship got even tighter. Now the teams go full throttle on this high-speed track at Michigan. Current point leader Sterling Marlin won this race last year. Today he wants to defend his trophy and dodge the ever-changing challengers that threaten his reign. Here the track is wide, the pace is swift, and the 400-mile mission is demanding. Today it's not just about horsepower, it's also about manpower. This is Michigan.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot of time.
TNT Sports presents NASCAR. Today, it's the Pepsi 400 live from the Michigan International Speedway. Race 23 of the Winston Cup season and the second stop of the year here at Michigan. Success on this track means a near-perfect mix of handling and horsepower. But no matter how good your car is or how good your driver is, the challenge on this high-speed oval often is how good your fuel mileage is. Hi everybody, Bill Weber along with Benny Parsons. Welcome to Michigan, the first of 4 straight races right here on TNT. For 36 weeks, there's a different race and another winner. But the big picture is the race to the championship. Today, one of 7 different drivers could leave here as the Winston Cup point leader. The guys 1st through 7th in the standings are separated by just 150 points. That's the closest the top 7 in points, with just 14 races to go, have ever been in the history of NASCAR. That's the big picture. How about today's picture?
You know, NASCAR announced last week that the GM cars could add just a little bit of downforce to the front of their cars. Well, after qualifying on Friday, Chevys took the first 5 spots, and the tongues, they started wagging. And yesterday in practice, I didn't see a dominant manufacturer, but I tell you, in today's race, if the GM cars take the first 5 spots, we won't need a microphone to hear the folks at Ford and Dodge screaming.
It'll be very loud.
Very loud.
Well, on the Bud pole is the Bud Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he's standing by with our Bud, Matt Yoakum.
And, Bill, it's never been about starting here at Michigan for Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2 poles, average start 7.6, but it's been about finishing. You've never scored a top 10 finish here in a Cup car, Junior. Your buddy Kenseth won here back in June. Can you one-up him here today?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some tips over here right now. Matt seems to do real good here. But we've always qualified good, and we start off real good, but the track gets so tight, and we just don't have the right setup for the race. So we really got something a lot different underneath the car to hopefully keep the car freed up today.
His team was very confident with the final practice session. He won here in a Busch car. He'd like to add a Winston Cup trophy, Dave.
Kevin Harvick has not led in a Winston Cup car here yet, Matt, but I think he might today. He starts outside of row number 1, but Kevin, can you lead the last lap today?
Well, that's what we're aiming for. The beginning is not the one that we're most worried about. We're concerned about the 200th lap. So we'll see. I mean, GM Goodwren's car's been good all weekend since we unloaded it, so we're looking forward to getting this thing underway finally.
If he wins today, it will equal his feat earlier this year at Chicagoland, where he took his first win of the season. Marty?
Well, Dave, what a great couple of days it has been for Steve Park. On Friday, signed a new 1-year deal with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, promptly went out, qualified the car 4th, so it's already been a great weekend. Now, next Friday, you have a birthday, so now if you win this thing, that'd make it the perfect week, right?
It would definitely make it the perfect week, and the Pennzoil Chevrolet is running really good, so we have every intention of finishing off that good weekend with a win. So, again, we're just excited. The car's running good, and we qualified good, signed that all-new contract, which really makes me excited. And just want to thank all the race fans because they've supported me through probably one of the toughest times of my career. So, again, just want to thank them and thank Pennzoil, too, because they've been a great sponsor, and I put them through thick and thin, and they've stuck by me. So I'm just glad that I can return the favor.
Same car that finished 7th at Indianapolis, his best finish of the year. Bill?
Thanks, Marty. 1 year ago, Sterling Marlin came to this track winless in his previous 171 races. He won. And in the last 14 races last season, He had 2 wins and 9 top 10 finishes. He finished 3rd in the points. Right now, he's number 1 in the points, and Sterling knows on the race to the Winston Cup Championship, you cannot break down.
I know the breakdown. Everything is gonna shake now someday. I know the breakdown. Tell me again, am I awake now? Maybe you can find the reason that no one else is living this way. Yeah, living this way. Yeah.
And here's the reigning champ of the Pepsi 400, Sterling Marlin. You're 53 points ahead of Mark Martin. Are you more frustrated by some of your recent finishes, or you're thinking, hey, the bad luck's out of the way and we still got the point lead?
Well, you hope it is. It's kind of like, if we have trouble, Mark or Jeff or somebody has trouble behind us, and we seem to have a 50-point to 100-point back to 50. So, we got it going here last year, and the cars were running pretty good. And, I think we got a top 5 car today if we can get out of the traffic here. But we'll see what happens, and hope it comes out and we got a little bigger point lead.
You must be thrilled to death to be back on an oval track and rid of the road courses.
I hate them things.
No kid.
But, we was 43rd in snow when the motor just got hot, fan belt come off, and I probably messed the motor up last week, over revved it, and knocked the valve out of it. But Indy had a freak deal. A piece of the intake fell out and knocked the valve out of it. So we had probably a 2nd to 7th place car at Indy, and we didn't have enough for the bill. But hopefully today, like I said, it's a handling track. Hope the car ain't too tight, it's not too loose, and we can get on with it.
Okay, so you're thinking top 5 for your Dodge today?
I think so. You're looking at times from yesterday, and we changed a few things this morning to try to free it up a little more. So we'll see what happens.
All right, thanks for coming up. Best of luck.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
Sterling Marlin's on his way to driver introductions. BP's on his way to the ATM, because this week the Golden Benny pays off in cold, hard cash.
Discover Card Countdown to Green is presented by Discover Card. It pays to discover. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy.
Benny Parsons loves the challenger. For example, we'll be playing golf and BP will tee off first, and he'll just crush one right down the middle. The next thing you hear is, okay, Weber, beat that. And you know what brings the biggest smile to his face? When you do. That's why this week, if you look really closely, you'll see that the Golden Benny is smiling.
Last year, I issued a challenge. These pit crew on pit road, you make the pit stop under 13 seconds, and I'll personally give you $100 per man, $700 total for that pit stop. You know what? Years gone past, but in June here at the Michigan Speedway, the 55 car had that perfect stop. Right side is up. Watch this stop, and also watch that clock on the very bottom of the screen. Right side's down. The jack man comes around to the left side. Up it goes. Watching that clock carefully. Down it goes. 12.9. The challenge has been met. It's my pleasure to present 700. See that? $700 cash, all you guys. 100 for you. You. You got yours already. Congratulations. Also, where's Jimmy Evans? He's not here. I want to present to you guys, for meeting the challenge, the Golden Benny. How about that, huh? Congratulations, guys. Job well done. Can you do it today? 13 seconds.
Yeah, we can do it today.
And pit crews, I got 700 left. Remember that.
Wow, so the real race could be on pit road as well as on the track today. Yesterday, a thrilling Busch race on this track. 21 lead changes. Michael Waltrip went to victory lane. The two guys in the chase for the Busch Series Championship both fell out with engine problems. Greg Biffle finished 42nd, and Jason Keller finished 35th. Biffle now leads Keller by 56 points in the race for that Busch Series Championship. Now, making his Busch Series debut yesterday after more than 200 career Winston Cup starts, Wally Dallenbach. And here's a look at Wally's day off.
That's my car. The photographers, media people.
As you know, there's a mandatory, well, not a mandatory, caution come on to lap 25. There's a caution coming out. I thought we weren't going to have one. Guess I wasn't paying attention again in the driver's meeting. Guys might have to push him back here. Sorry about that, guys. It's a lot of practice.
Oh, my.
Oh, no.
He's having a
Have a
snack.
tail, but when these tails get real hot, you can't unwrap them, so I'm doing the best I can here. If we do happen to stop, you got to get this windshield off. It's getting pretty tough to see. Stop, that's the only thing we'll be coming in for, because we're out of tires.
I think he's done a great job today to come out of retirement like that.
Use the R word. Ooh, he won't like that.
Yeah.
Use the R word.
Resting?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Coming to the flag. Good job, Wally. You doing real hard today. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good to get back in a race car. Thanks for making it happen.
Well, he did have a good day on the track. He finished 14th, and we enjoyed watching him and letting him take us for a ride in the Busch race. We did get a little bit of work out of him earlier in the day. So here's Wally on that old racing adage. It's not where you start, it's where you restart that counts.
Welcome to Michigan to my TNT No Boundaries board. Last weekend, the restart at Watkins Glen, Tony Stewart pushed the envelope. But there's a famous gray area on where the leader makes those restarts. Usually there's a mark on the wall. Here at Michigan, there's 2 stripes on the outside wall. NASCAR says you can be within about 100 yards or so before you can start. So if I'm the leader, first thing I'm going to do is get up high on the racetrack, because I can get passed on the outside. It's legal for somebody to pass me on the outside before the start-finish line. I'm going to get my belts tight. Also, I'm going to pay attention to the guy behind me, because if I'm not paying attention and don't get a good restart, I'm a sitting duck. So when I get up to about the 150-yard mark, I'm going to be riding the brake a little bit. I'm going to be slowing the car down. I'm going to be looking in the mirror. If I see any indication that I should go for it or jump that start, I'm going to go. And let's jam through the gears and hopefully make up a little ground on the cars behind me.
And be watching for those restarts today. Now, some news here from Michigan. You already heard Marty talk to Steve Park about his new contract for 2003 at DEI. It was confirmed here this morning that Elliott Sadler will move to Robert Yates Racing next season. The sponsor will be M&M's, and the car number will be 38, not 28, but 38. Cal Wells announced he will move to Pontiac beginning in 2003. And next week at Bristol, it's expected that Morgan McClure Motorsports could also announce that they will join the Pontiac stable. Sunny, breezy, 78 degrees here at the Michigan International Speedway, closing in on the green flag for the Pepsi 400. We'll be right back.
Had breakfast burrito I made myself. Didn't start a fire in the motorhome, so that was bonus.
Jimmy Johnson signing some autographs, comes in here third in points, just 56 behind Sterling Marlin, rolls off 29th, goes to the driver's meeting, gets his final instructions for today's Pepsi 400. He could leave here as the Winston Cup point leader. We'll see. Now, this is a fuel mileage track. That means all these teams here up and down pit road have a pretty good idea of exactly how far they can go on a full load of fuel, because at this wide, smooth, relatively flat track, cautions can be few. There were just 4 here during the 400-mile race in June. The term you're going to hear today is packing the fuel cell. That means get every drop of gas possible into that tank. But it's not just getting gas into the car, it's getting gas to the pits that's important. Here's Dave.
Well, Bill, when a Winston Cup driver comes into the pits, you don't see a fuel rig or filler hoses or gas pumps. What you see are gas cans, cans that weigh 12 pounds when they're empty, 80 pounds when they're full of fuel. But guess what? These cans don't refill themselves during the race. A team member has to go to a central location in the garage and get them filled with fuel after each and every pit stop. They generally call this person a gas runner, or, depending on who you talk to, a fuel mule. Well, that's what I'm trying to be today. I started at the farthest pit away, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s, and I have a long way to go to get down to the fuel pumps. Now, the problem is I have to navigate through all these people and pit equipment, and I have to do it before my driver comes in for another stop, which, if I don't pick up the pace, I'm going to miss. Bill?
It's good to see Dave working so hard. Now, the Chevys and the Pontiacs got an additional kickout for this week here at Michigan. That means that the Chevrolet teams were allowed to pull this portion of the front of the car, the nose of the car, out an additional inch. For Pontiac teams, it was an extra ½ inch. A little more kickout here on the front of the air dam means a little more downforce here on the front of the car. So what happened in qualifying on Friday? For the first time this season, the top 5 spots all went to one manufacturer, Chevrolet. Body styles, the most controversial chapter in the ever-changing rule book. But better bodies don't equate to better racing. So now NASCAR and the guys back in the garage have to solve this puzzle. What happens when aero push comes to shove?
You got to have it. It's there. Your car handles better. It goes faster with it. But when you lose it, you're dead.
It has been the toughest opponent on the track this season. Aero push, the invisible force that critics and competitors claim is ruining the racing.
When you get behind the car, all of a sudden you go to steer into the corner and the front end starts sliding on you.
And you get right there and you lose that front end and you have to let off the gas and we'll hit the wall. And it happens everywhere.
Does it frustrate you as a driver?
Yeah, I mean, you can be a ½ second faster than someone, catch them, and only get 2 or 3 car lengths from them and you're stuck.
The aerodynamic magic and mystery is a result of millions of dollars poured into wind tunnel testing. Slick body styles generate more downforce and faster speeds. But on the track, it's the racing that seems to disappear.
Aero push is hurting racing.
Oh, aero's hurting racing, period.
Advancement in technology, has hurt the sport. And it's hurt a lot of other motorsports, too. I mean, you look at F1, you look at kart. I mean, these guys just follow the leader.
Now we're racing versions of Formula One or Indy cars, which passing is just almost non-existent.
To be honest with you, that's the case in 60% of the races we run. Take anybody in the top 5 and put them in the lead and they'll win the race with 30 laps to go.
So the technology has left racers stuck in second. The show has changed. Old tricks like handling and horsepower are still good, but too often the final act is simply what tires and track position you can pull out of the hat.
Last pit stop, most important pit stop of the day. You can mess up every other one, but you get that last one right, you get the track position, and you get near the front or at the front.
If you get caught back 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and you might have been leading the race all day long, you can pretty much count your chances pretty slim there. That something big has to happen for you to get back to the front.
The tires we're running now are so hard simply because we have so much downforce. Downforce creates grip. So when we put on a softer tire, yes, we go faster, we'll blister them.
So Goodyear's gone back and redesigned the tires so that they're harder, which means they don't fall off as much, so that your setup from start to finish isn't as important as it would be if your tires wore more.
To go to Bristol, Tennessee, Kurt Busch won that race up there this year. He ran 160-some laps and didn't pit. I'm glad, I commend him for winning the race. But that type of racing is ridiculous. To sit out there on the racetrack all day long and nobody pits, they all drive around in circles, it was a stupid race. And they've all admitted to it, Goodyear and NASCAR.
Of course, the current formula has led to some interesting results.
The lack of experience isn't as big of a deal today as it used to be.
Because the equipment makes up for it.
Because the downforce makes up for it, because the tires don't give up, and the harder you drive the car, the faster you're going to go.
Because of the aero push or the aero disadvantage of being behind the car, you give somebody else an opportunity to win the race.
It's made people do funny pit strategy. It's made people do goofy things. So in some ways, it's made racing better. It's made it more complicated and more of a pain for the competitors. But when you watch it on TV, it's okay.
You're a racer. You don't believe that. You don't believe that it's helping the sport.
No, I mean, I don't believe it. But I mean, that's if you look at it, I mean, that's the only positive thing that you can find out of the word aero push.
Now, a couple of weeks ago at Pocono, I asked Winston Cup Series Director John Darby about the aero push problem. He's hopeful that new body styles in 2003 will help eliminate part of the problem. But the guys back in the garage area believes NASCAR can eliminate the problem with one tool. It's called a saw. Dave Burns continues to work hard here at the Michigan International Speedway, getting some fuel mileage today, 46 to 52 laps. You've got to be able to get to 50.
Discover Card Countdown to Green is presented by Discover Card. It pays to discover. And by Pepsi Cola. Experience the joy of Pepsi.
Driver introductions continuing here at the Michigan International Speedway, and I think they're introducing Marty Snyder to the crowd. Oh, no. Marty's with Ryan Newman, who starts 9th and is being introduced. Marty?
That's right. On the backstretch now, the hottest guy in Winston Cup, Ryan Newman, with 5 straight top 5 finishes. And the talk in the garage area was about you this morning, and it was all good. You going to get your first career win today, Ryan?
Well, we got a great opportunity. Just look forward to a good race. We've had a good success here at Michigan, and good race team in the Alltel Ford, and we got a Mobile One paint scheme on it this week, and look forward to a good race. It's going to be a tough 400 miles like always here, but the best man is going to win for sure.
Only one driver in the history of this track has gotten his first career win here. That was Dale Jarrett in 1991. Matt?
Marty, the Dodge boys of Bill Elliott and Jeremy Mayfield enter Michigan with the same ultimate goal, but different agendas. Elliott's trying to maintain his newfound momentum and chasing an 8th Michigan victory, while Mayfield's trying to find some of that Elliott momentum and end a 67 race winless streak. Both cars were fast in the final practice session. The two teammates start 6th and 7th this afternoon. Dave?
Mark Martin finished 10th last week at Watkins Glen and picked up 56 points on points leader Sterling Marlin. This morning, however, he just described his car to me as only mediocre. He's going to do the best he can because he is still in a points chase. Now, the defending champion of the series, Jeff Gordon, has 2 wins here at Michigan in his past, but he hasn't run particularly well here this weekend. I spoke with his crew chief, Robbie Gordon, this morning. He said they did make some gains in happy hour, and Jeff believes that he can take this car from his qualifying position of 19th up toward the front of the field. Bill?
Dave the Gas Man Burns. Since first coming here in 1969, the Winston Cup Series has raced at Michigan on August 18th just twice, 1991 and 1996. Dale Jarrett started 11th in both of those races and won them both. In fact, in 66 races here at Michigan, it's only been run on the 18th twice, and those are the 2 wins by Dale Jarrett. So, today being August 18th, who breaks from the 11th spot? 3-time Michigan winner, Bobby Labonte. We'll see what happens. The countdown's at 0. The Pepsi 400 is coming up on TNT.
This has been the Discover Cars Countdown to Green. Let's go race it.
TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Today, it's the Pepsi 400 live from Brooklyn, Michigan. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series started racing here in 1969, and the 66 races at this track, only 7 times has the winner started outside the top 15. Today, the top 7 drivers in points all start 17th or worse. It could be wild. Now, here are 3 guys that always start up front and have to go the whole race without pitting. Alan, Wally, and Benny.
Okay, Bill. Hey, BP, this is, without question, one of the drivers' favorite tracks to race at.
It really is, because they can make a difference. If the car isn't fast enough, they can look around on the racetrack, move high, move low, move in the middle of the racetrack. They might have to do it in different ends of the racetrack, but the driver can make a difference. And you know what? Every time they make a pit stop, change 4 tires, or the temperature changes a degree or 2, they got to start all over again, trying to find that perfect groove around the racetrack. So when the race is over, Alan, they jump up on the car and wave to the crowd. They know they were part of the victory that day.
Yeah, a great car here is a car that's got a lot of downforce and a lot of motor, because you need that grip to run at the bottom of the racetrack or the middle. Like BP says, when I was in the Busch race yesterday, I was at the top, the bottom, the middle, all over this racetrack looking for grip. You'll see all these drivers doing this before the day's over.
Nice to have you back. Did you have some fun yesterday?
I had a blast yesterday.
I'll bet. It was fun
You
watching.
couldn't tell.
No, we couldn't tell. 21 lead changes in that Busch Series race yesterday. More of the same today? We're hoping so. Stay with us. The pre-race opening ceremony and the start of the Pepsi 400 coming up.
The Pepsi 400 from Michigan International Speedway, brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. Experience the joy of Pepsi. By Team Monte Carlo, the cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By Kellogg's, the official breakfast food of NASCAR. And by Coors Original, real golden beer, official sponsor of Guys Night Out.
We're into the final countdown before the start of today's Pepsi 400 at the Michigan International Speedway. Let's go trackside now and join in today's opening ceremony.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our invocation, here is Pastor Raymond Bruce from the First Baptist Church of Brooklyn, Michigan.
Shall we bow together? Our Father and our God, it's a great joy that we come before your holy presence today. Thou art the creator and the provider of eternal salvation, and every good and perfect gift cometh from thee. That which we are enjoying this day is a result of your love and mercy and grace, and we want to thank you. We are gathered here from all over this great country of ours, America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, to be a part of a sport that we enjoy very much. And it's my prayer that you might grant to each one of us safety and a good time of fun. I pray for the drivers, the owners, the sponsors, the pit crews, the media, the fans, and everyone here at MIS who has made this NASCAR event possible. Thank you, Father. We pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our national anthem, Sony recording artists, Little Big Town.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And now, ladies and gentlemen, with those magic words of motorsports, here is Michigan Lieutenant Governor Dick Posthumus. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Some of these guys to get buckled in, huh?
We were just talking about that earlier. I was telling you guys that I noticed how long it takes now. You got to get in the cars earlier because of all the safety devices and everything I found yesterday. I needed an extra about 5 minutes to get in the car to get ready, so some of these guys are still not ready.
They'll be ready in a minute when we come back for the start of the Pepsi 400 in Michigan. 190-mile-an-hour action, plus the overhead fighter jets when we come back on TNT.
As a member of the Pepsi-Cola family, and on behalf of the employees of Pepsi-Cola North America and their bottling system, I'd like to welcome you all to the Pepsi 400. So fasten your seatbelts and get ready for great racing excitement.
Moments away from the start of the Pepsi 400, TNT live at the Michigan International Speedway. You see the field has not yet rolled from their grid positions to start the parade and pace laps. What you got for us in Thunder Motion today, Benny?
Well, Wally and I are going to show you just how easy it is to go around this racetrack side by side as we go inside NASCAR Thunder 2003. Wally, there you are, the Pepsi machine.
There I am, and I got you beat already going into turn 1, BP.
But that's me in the TNT Pontiac. And you can see I can go by Wally on the outside if I dare, because the racetrack is plenty wide enough. This time I'll try it on the inside since you were trying to block me on the outside.
I was doing a little mirror driving, but you're right. This is a fun track for the drivers because there is so much room to race, Benny.
And when you go in the corner, we see you going side by side. Wally, you need to tell the crew to raise your car up when you make that pit stop.
But I've got a draft on you now.
Coming down to the checkered flag. Can he do it?
I'm looking.
Oh, no! You beat me. I get to do the donuts in the grass.
And nobody did anything dumb. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Kind of kept it in the family. Friday, Dale Earnhardt Jr. with his first Bud Pole Award of the season. Now the 13th different qualifier. For the Budweiser Shootout next February, more than $7 million paid out by Anheuser-Busch as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. All right, let's have a look at the Walmart starting grid for today's Pepsi 400. Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick leading a Chevy sweep of the top 5 spots in qualifying. If they finish that way, ooh, the complaints are going to be loud.
On the inside of row 2 is yesterday's NASCAR Busch Series winner, Michael Waltrip. Let's try to talk to Michael. Michael, Benny Parsons, got me?
Yeah, BP, all fired up there and ready to bring these folks a race this afternoon.
We're all ready. Congratulations on your victory yesterday.
Thank you. It's great to get the Aaron's Dream Machine in victory lane for Bobby Kennedy and all the boys that worked so hard on that car. I'm real proud of them. We built it out behind my house, and it runs like a top, and I'm proud of those boys.
Did you learn anything yesterday in the Busch race that might help you today in this 400 miles?
Well, we were set on our setup before the Busch race, so we didn't change that any. Just reaffirm that you can run all over this place. You can run low and you can run high. It makes it a lot of fun for the drivers, and that's probably why there's about 200,000 people sitting around this place today, Benny. Napa Auto Parts Chevy should be fun to watch. Let's hope that's right.
Well, guess what? We're going to be watching as close as we can. Good luck, Mikey.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day, too.
Michael Waltrip lined up inside of row 2 for today's Pepsi 400. Looking at the rest of the starting grid, there's the championship leader, Sterling Marlin, way back in row 13. His rival, right now one of his rivals for the championship, Mark Martin, starts ahead of him up in row number 9. Some of the other guys up top in points, including Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy's back in row 15. We just saw him. There's Ricky Rudd in row 16.
See Derek Cope in the 49 car this week, and Jimmy Spencer obviously back in the Target machine. And Johnny Benson, they're talking about, has a very good race car, but starting 35th.
Provisionals now, Rusty Wallace not able to get into the top 36 on his time in qualifying. Bobby Hamilton had a really fast car in yesterday's final practice. We'll see. He's got to come from row 20 if he's going to make something happen today. Tony Raines in his second Winston Cup start gets the last spot in the field in Bill Baumgartner's car. Only one driver failed to qualify. Greg Biffle, the Busch Series championship leader, not quick enough to get into today's Pepsi 400. Just getting going with the pace laps. We'll take a break.
Welcome back to the 2-mile track here in Michigan. 152,000 fans on hand watching 43 cars circulate this track, getting ready for the green flag in the Pepsi 400. One car they're going to watch at the front of the field is Robbie Gordon, coming off a strong run last week at Watkins Glen when he finished 3rd. They tested here after Indianapolis, had an outstanding test, didn't practice as well as they tested. They're hoping they can race as well as they tested. Robbie Gordon with momentum, motor, and fuel mileage here at Michigan. Down pit road to Dave Burns.
Bill, Dale Jarrett, and crew very confident with 3 wins here, including his first ever. He runs very well at Michigan. Remember, earlier this year, he sat on the pole and nearly won this race. Matt?
Dave, last week at Watkins Glen, Ricky Rudd scored his first top 5 finish since he won back at Sonoma. The team feels like they're back on track. I talked to Fatback McSway and Ricky's crew chief. They went the entire final practice session on one set of tires. They feel like it could come down to a situation of 4 tires or no tires, and they feel like they've got a stout race car, Marty.
Well, Matt, Friday and Saturday did not go very well for Rusty Wallace. He was trying one of those new setups. So Saturday in happy hour, they put in a conventional setup. They don't really know what to expect today, but Rusty does have 2 things going in his favor. Number 1, he has his favorite car, Mad Max. Took him to his last win at California last year. Number 2, he starts 37th. How is that in his advantage? Last time Rusty started 37th was Daytona in July, and he finished 2nd. Alan?
Yesterday we had a racing commentator and a commentating racer. They're back in their sort of normal places today, and yesterday's commentating racer has got a stout car for today.
I'll tell you what, walking through the garage area this morning, all the guys said, Tony Stewart, this 20 car is awesome.
He's one of those guys that can run down on the bottom and get away with it, and that's what you have to have here, and he runs good here. Was he kind to me yesterday? I just want to know before we get started.
Really, Except he was into your snack. Pace cars off. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick bringing the field down. The start of the Pepsi 400 in Michigan, live on TNT. Robbie Gordon in that 31 car, the quick duck to the inside.
And look at Bill Elliott on the outside in that 9 car. The winner at Indy, taking over 3rd, going for 2nd.
Elliott up from row 3 quickly.
And Elliott goes to the outside.
Kevin Harvick will lead lap 1. Bill Elliott in 2nd, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 3rd, Steve Park is 4th, Robbie Gordon 5th.
You know, the draft comes into play here, so if these guys will stay single file, or if the cars that do stay single file, will pull away from this group right here that's running 2 and 3 abreast.
Look at Bobby Labonte in that 18 car. He started 11th. Got 3 spots on the opening lap. He's going for 4, 5. Steve Park getting shuffled back in the 1.
And Bill Elliott's teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, in a 19 car. Look at it go to the corner and goes by Robbie Gordon.
And Elliott quickly all over Kevin Harvick for the race lead. And this is what it was like all 250 miles in a Busch Series race yesterday. What a great racetrack this is. Ryan Newman we're on board with. Here's Dale Jarrett looking underneath Michael Waltrip. Jarrett in the 88. Tony Stewart tried to come with him in Big Orange.
That was a battle for the 10th position. And Tony Stewart, ladies and gentlemen, started 24th. And that time by was 13th.
Michael Waltrip's looking back there. Mikey started.
And like we talked about, see where Tony's at? If he normally gets his car to run down there all day long, and that is a great place to run. Especially as we go along, the track gets hot, these cars will start sliding further and further up the racetrack. If you can keep your car on the bottom and have the horsepower to pull off the bottom of the corners, you've got a great car at Michigan.
There's Michael in that 15, the Napa car. He started 3rd. Last time by, he was 11th. Lost a couple more spots on this lap. Dave, what about Mikey?
Alan, I just spoke with his crew chief, Slugger Labby. He said he didn't get a very good start, said he went through all the gears, but then he just got shuffled to the outside and really has not been able to make up any ground.
Look at all the trash out there.
You know, in 170 or 50 or 60,000 people buy hot dogs, they create a lot of paper.
Problem is that paper winds up on your grill. That could cause trouble.
3-car breakaway up front. You're looking back at the race for 7th, 8th, and 9th. 3 wide.
Look at Ricky Craven, that 32 car on the outside as he tries to go by Jeremy Mayfield, Robbie Gordon.
Now that's if they would have stayed 3 abreast, that's a big draft. These cars behind them will pull on. But they got singled out pretty quick.
And Craven started back in the 16th position. Last time by was in 6th.
Yep, nice early break there for Ricky. Here's Mike Skinner. Ooh, little bump draft in there. Well, let's see. Maybe the 15's regrouped here after those first couple of laps. Still the same up front. Kevin Harvick, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's your three-car breakaway. Bobby Labonte has moved to fourth. He's 2.5 seconds behind these three.
And here goes Bill Elliott on the outside for the lead, turn 2.
7 times at Michigan, Bill Elliott has gone to victory lane. 1 at Pocono, 1 at Indianapolis. Says the road course is a different animal. Trying to make it another oval track victory today for Ray Evernham and Dodge.
And this big red car, this number 9, same car he won Homestead, same car he won Pocono, same car he won Indy with. It might be this red number 9 versus the other 42 cars today.
So although Chevrolet swept the top 5 spots in qualifying, it's Bill Elliott's Dodge that has moved to the point, just underway in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. We're back in Michigan, and we've just gone under the caution flag. In the Pepsi 400, Dale Jarrett got in trouble off turn 4.
See some damage to the left front, like, I don't know if he hit the apron of the racetrack or he made contact with another car.
I think BP, that's from the grass. I think it folded in that left front valence, caved in that fender.
Bill Elliott brings the field back to the caution flag, first yellow of the race.
Here's the dam. See if we get a replay and tell us what happened to that fender.
Dale was running kind of in a pack of cars here. That's far right of the screen.
No, he just got loose. Just got the car loose.
And probably right there when that car, yes, right there when the car started straight ahead, I think that's when that fender went down, or valence went down and touched the ground.
There you see him trying to slide up. In front of that is Jeremy. And that probably could have taken the air off his rear spoiler, because when you're drifting up the racetrack like that, you're already sliding, and he came in front of Jeremy, and it may have taken the air off the rear spoiler and got him turned. It's more than likely what happened.
Now we see when the car gets turned around and start going back in the right direction, I think we're going to see the left front fender. Right there is going to be like a snow plow. No, I didn't see it.
So Dale Jarrett on and now headed back off of pit road, still on the lead lap. But he is going to fall to the end of the line from running up in the top 15.
Oh, that's surprising. These guys are coming in.
Here comes everybody so far.
I think right now, if they pit now, that means they can make it the rest of the way on 3 stops.
So we'll probably see some fuel splashing gases here, splash and dash.
2 tire stops probably.
Okay, Dave, go ahead.
Bill Elliott has had so much success here, he certainly doesn't want to get lost at any point on this day. So he goes ahead and gets 4 tires. No changes to his car. 2 tires only for Elliott. Bill.
This is gas and go for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's already back out, leads everybody off of pit road.
A strategy smorgasbord.
And Robbie Gordon, the 31 car, evidently changed 4 because he's losing spot after spot.
Two tires, 4 tires, no tires. We just saw it all. As everybody came onto pit road, just 12 laps into the Pepsi 400 in Michigan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the first one off of pit lane. Back in Michigan, International Speedway coming to the green for the restart of the Pepsi 400. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team with fuel only gets him out in front.
Kevin Harvick gets a very good restart, drives down to the inside of Elliott. But I'll tell you what, Bill Elliott has gotten racing these days, hasn't he, Wally?
Well, I'll tell you what, when you got a good race car, you can get racing. And he sure has. That car he has just done everything right with.
Confidence, momentum, you name it.
And when you do, when a driver feels good about a race car, you want to take that race car every weekend. You want to take that same car. Do you have a favorite car, BP?
Oh, yes.
You just get a good feel for it.
Most everybody on the pit stops got right side tires or two tires. We actually heard a couple guys, just like Jeremy Mayfield, just took lefts. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sterling Marlin got fuel only. Most everybody else took two tires. Some of the guys now toward the back, like Ward Burton, got four tires on their pit stops. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running out in the lead. We intercepted this from his car just a minute ago.
Right now I'm a little tight in the center, a little bit loose off, good in. Really, I'm not worried. I'm not the tight in the center isn't the worst problem. Kind of, you know, it depends on how I drive the corner. It's very, very easy to get the car to push. It's very easy to get the car to be loose. So where it's at, I'm pretty happy.
The thing that's important is the good in. You want a car that you can drive in Michigan. You want to drive in deep. So you want to make that car very comfortable getting into the corners.
And it goes back to what you said, Benny, a minute ago before the green flag. The driver has a lot of input here. Junior said it all depends how I drive the car.
Exactly. What kind of line I take through the corner.
Junior shuffled back a little bit. Kevin Harvick to the point. This is the race for third we're looking at. Bobby Labonte and Joe Gibbs' car trying to get it away from Bill Elliott. And this is Ryan Newman running right behind Labonte. Marty?
The caution was very fortuitous for Ryan Newman because of the fact you talked about all the trash on the racetrack. He had picked up a piece of paper on the grill. The water shot up to 230. What he did under caution was got close to Bobby Labonte's bumper, and the piece of paper fell off. The water temperature dropped. He was a little bit loose, but still very happy, and they have a fast car.
Marty, if you're going to keep using big words like that, we're not going to go to you.
Got to carry a dictionary around with us.
Fortunate, Wally.
Thank you.
You know, and that's a couple of times we've talked about paper and hot dog wrappers and things like that. Let's show you exactly what we're talking about. Tape on the grill. These guys, all the air goes to the car. That slows the car down as that air goes in, hits the engine. To make the car faster, give more downforce on the front, they apply tape. Just duct tape on the car. That makes the car much better, gives it a lot more downforce. You see the green arrows, but that hot dog wrapper goes up and you see the water temperature on the right go way over to the boiling point.
You know, yesterday, our water temperature in the Busch car was about 185, 190, and our car was tight, and I was looking for garbage to run over, because if you can get some of that trash on your grill, it actually helps the downforce of the car, but we were running cool enough. I was looking for them to be throwing hot dog wrappers on the racetrack.
Change for third. Ryan Newman has finally gotten by Bill Elliott. Take a little farther back here. Matt Kenseth in the 17, racing Sterling Marlin in the 40 for the 8th place.
Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, I think was a winner here in June when the cars raced here. Yes, Tony Stewart up there trying to get by Kurt Busch in the 97, Stewart in 20.
That's 6th place there. Stewart now taking over 6th. Well, maybe.
They're contesting 6th anyway.
Can never be sure at this racetrack. A lot of racetracks, somebody gets under, you're going into the corner. You've got to give him the spot. Not here.
Yeah, and you can get a real good run on somebody getting off the corner, but like I said, the draft is a big part here. Unless you have some help helping you push past that guy, sometimes you get right out, you pull out the pass, and you just stop. It's like a parachute goes out the back.
We have the two Roush cars. Jack Roush owns both these cars, the 97 and the 17. And directly in front of those two are the two cars owned by Joe Gibbs, the 20, Tony Stewart, and the 18 of Bobby Labonte.
And Tony's going to take 5th away from Bobby there. So Big Orange got it rolling early.
You see Matt, when you saw Matt get up in front of the 97 car, you saw the rear car come around. He got loose. That's exactly what happened to the 88 car of Dale Jarrett.
Now, speaking of Dale Jarrett, he is on the lead lap. He's back in 31st place after that spin off of turn 4 down through the tri-oval grass we saw just a minute ago. Now, we talked about the damage on his front end that he got and where he got it.
Well, and they were in the pits hammering on the thing, knocking it out. And watch this, folks. This is great. As that left front fender goes down, digs in and watch that fender buckle. And while it's incredible how much that can affect the handling of the car.
Yeah, they really worked hard on getting that back because it is so critical for the downforce here. And I think they're going to be looking to fill that gopher hole, too, sometime during one of these yellows.
You see the gap from Dale Jarrett up to the leader, Kevin Harvick. If you got to have a problem having like that, it's good it was at lap 12. They've got time to make it up.
But they'll probably have to chase the car a little bit. I'm sure that affected the handling a little bit. So they're going to have to wait till the next pit stop to make an adjustment because I'm sure they didn't get it back perfect.
Matt Kenseth trying to get 6th place from Bobby Labonte.
And it looks like that some of these cars that just changed right sides now are struggling with their setup. Bobby Labonte ran a little bit better before the pit stop. Bill Elliott, who was leading the race before the pit stop, has now fallen back to the 4th position.
2nd place, Ryan Newman outside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get the spot. So Newman now the one that's pursuing leader Kevin Harvick. Just underway at the Michigan International Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Back in Michigan International Speedway, caution is just weighed for debris in turn number 3. Check our Wendy's race menu next Saturday night. The night race at Bristol.
Oh, yes. That's not going to be too exciting.
Crashing and bashing and oh, yeah, they'll be all kind of fun. Then the Southern 500 at Darlington. On Labor Day weekend, the night race at Richmond. Then the race for the championship moves over to NBC in Loudon, New Hampshire, September 15th. A lot of great action for you coming up over the next month. So, 2nd yellow flag of the race. First one for Dale Jarrett. Spin into the grass off turn 4. This one is for debris.
Now then.
There's the spring rubber. Somebody lost the spring rubber, BP.
Yes. I'm surprised that it did not roll down the racetrack, and I guess that's why that NASCAR threw the caution flag, just to be sure that it was not a piece of metal. It was, in fact, a spring rubber.
And it's a pretty solid piece of rubber there. So if somebody kicked that up with a tire, that would be...
Yeah, you wouldn't want to run that over.
So, thus the caution.
Now then, I wonder how many of those guys are going to change 2 again, or gas only.
How many of them are going to pit? They were in at lap 12. We're at lap 28 now.
Well, you figure the guys towards the back or the middle of the back have nothing to lose. I'd come in and get 4. If I was sitting around 23rd, 24th spot, I think I'd come.
Okay.
I think they'll all come.
Okay.
There are a lot of conversation down here. It's going to be a tire game, I think, all day down here, guys. 2 and 4. The big thing's going to be when you take your 2 and when you're forced to take your 4.
Yeah. And we know everybody loves 4.
Oh, yes.
So
I'll tell you,
they may all come in.
In that Busch Series race yesterday, 4 tires was the thing.
Yeah.
When Todd Bodine got those 4 tires, he was faster than Michael Waltrip until they had their little confrontation.
I wanted more, but I ran out.
Yeah.
And Bill, looks like you're right, because I don't see anyone staying on pit road. They're all coming on the racetrack. They're all coming down pit road, Marty.
Here's a twist on the arrow push story. Ryan Newman is too loose when he's out front, but he's good when he's behind other cars. They take a round of wedge out and a pound out of the right rear tire. Finished 2nd last week at Watkins Glen, looking for his first win. Bill.
2nd stop for Kevin Harvick. Going to add a half-pound air pressure to the right rear. The 2-tire stop. Chassis adjustment on his way already.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting 4. I see mostly 4-tire stops down there. Dave?
A 4-tire stop for Tony Stewart. The radio communication from crew chief Greg Zipadelli was, our car is good, Tony. We can make the time back up. Let's take 4 now. They also made a wedge adjustment. He was a little bit tight.
So Kevin Harvick, first off of pit road. He will continue to hold on to the lead in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan.
Back at the Michigan International Speedway, Bill Elliott, who had such a dominant car, and it is a car that he has won in several times before, has a problem. His car jumps out of gear when he lets off the throttle. That's when it's in gear, he's racing. He backs off just a bit, and it tends to pop out of gear. The crew hasn't given him anything to fix that yet. They just hope that it's not a recurring problem for the rest of this race. Alan?
Well, normally, Dave, keep your eye open. I would be surprised if they didn't hand him a bungee cord. Normally, when a car's jumping out of gear, when you get in 4th gear, the driver will take the bungee cord, and once he's in fourth gear, he'll hook it to the shifter, and they'll try to hook it to something behind the seat to keep that in gear. So if it's jumping out, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen.
Bill Elliott is back in 43rd place.
Man.
NASCAR Busch Series update for you. Yesterday here at the Michigan International Speedway, Michael Waltrip scored the win after a somewhat ferocious late race duel with Todd Bodine, who wound up in 4th place. Championship standings. Greg Biffle fell out at lap 19. Jason Keller was going to gain some points. He blew up late in the race, running 3rd. So the gap just about the same between the two of them headed to Bristol next Friday. End of that race yesterday, kind of contentious. Listen.
He ran into me, and so I tried to wait till he's exactly beside me, and I swerved at him and tried to cave in his right front fender.
I don't know what Mike is crying about. I barely got into him.
You know, when you're racing for the win, you're not supposed to run into a guy. And he did.
Well, you know, the thing is here at Michigan, when you're racing like that off of turn 2, your car slides up the racetrack all the time. So, you know, I'm a little bit surprised Mike thought that was intentional, because I really doubted it was.
Back underway with Kevin Harvick leading. He got 2 tires on his stop. Jeff Green is 2nd. He got 2 tires. Jeff Gordon is 3rd. You got it. 2 tires only. Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, 4th and 5th. Then Dale Earnhardt Jr., the first of the previous leaders, who got 4 tires. He's already disposed of Mayfield, and he's moving up. Here comes Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth. They got 4 tires on their stops.
And Junior goes by Mark Martin, takes that spot away, moves into 4th.
I know I said this once before, but yesterday in that Busch Series race, 4 tires versus 2. The 4 tires won out.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't, you know, sometimes 2 is better, but
I will disagree with that, because Michael Waltrip, with 10 laps to go yesterday, ran the fastest lap I saw all day long.
With what?
2 tires.
Once Todd Bodine got that damage and fell back.
Todd might have been able to run faster, but Michael, with those 2 tires, really did. I was just shocked at how well he ran. Speaking of Michael Waltrip, there he goes on the outside of the 12th car. Oh, he's going to drive in between 2 cars.
Michael trying to make his way back toward the front. Started 3rd, fell back in the opening laps. Now he's back on the charge again.
There's Tony down on the bottom.
2nd place, Jeff Gordon's going to go by Jeff Green. And we pick back up with 5th place here. Stewart right down on the white line.
It's amazing how he can keep that car down, and it just doesn't slide up the hill as he comes off the corner into the side of another car.
And that's what you'll get a lot of. We just saw that clip between Todd and Michael, especially off of 2. You come out there side by side and you've got some laps on your tires. The guy on the bottom is going to slide up, and there's nothing you can really do. You just roll off the throttle and hope that you get clear.
Boy, Jeremy Mayfield's car at 19 just did not want to turn when he went into turn 1 there.
Jeff Burton, Dave Blaney trying to get by Jeremy Mayfield. That's a battle back about the 15th position, and Blaney, the 77 car, started 36th.
2nd place. 4 tires. Dale Earnhardt Jr. moving up. Back again, Blaney, Burton. 14th, 15th on back.
Yeah, it does look like Jeremy's car. That 19 car does look like it slides up the hill quite a bit.
Here comes Benson in the 10.
Got loose down in the corner. Oh, that was close.
Catch your breath, Dave. Johnny Benson in that 10 started back in 35th place. And he's from Michigan. Oh, boy.
Well, that's tight right there.
Tony Stewart on Jeff Gordon for 3rd. This is what it was like yesterday while you were out there, Wall. You just didn't know where to look on the racetrack from up here.
Really, and it's normally this place gets strung out, but boy, there's a lot of good racing going on right now.
So Stewart is through into third. Check this out. Since the beginning of the 2000 season, nobody has won more races than Tony Stewart. Stewart, of course, winning last weekend at Watkins Glen, New York.
Jeff Green, exceptionally good run today in that 30 AOL car. Goes by that time in the 5th position.
Yeah, they took the 2 tires there and got up to 2nd on that last pit stop, BP. But they've been running well lately. That whole Richard Childress renaissance that we've been talking about. Robbie Gordon has got, top 10 finishes in 4 of the last 5 races. We've seen Harvick's turnaround. We've talked about that before. And Jeff's starting to come on, too.
I don't know if those 2 tires are helping him, though, right now.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, Benny, he hasn't said much on the radio about how this race car is handling since he took 2 tires for the 2nd time today. But this morning he told me that he felt so confident that this race car would be much better today than this Busch Series car was yesterday. And he finished 3rd here at Michigan. So confidence is high down in the 30 pit.
His race car is high, too.
Yeah, his car's real high on the racetrack.
Matt Kenseth working Jeff Gordon over for 4th place.
And him running up like that is just because he's got no grip. He's running the car in, and he's floating the car in until it stops sliding before you pick the throttle back up.
It's not going good for Brett O'Brien. He had a penalty for a lug nut issue on pit road a minute ago. Now we hear he's down a cylinder. 11 on 7.
Yeah, I heard him go by just a moment ago in that dreaded sound of 7 cylinders.
How about 4 wide here?
That's good.
Or 4 different lanes anyway. Look at this.
Hey, one thing, 30's got a pretty good motor in there. He bumped a couple guys down the straightaway already.
Way up by the wall. Somebody down on the bottom.
And Jeff Gordon in the middle.
And 152,000 here just because of that kind of racing. Kevin Harvick out in front. He has led 32 of the 41 laps that have been run so far driving for Richard Childress. He's up by a 2nd and a 3rd on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Watching NASCAR on TNT.
High risk situation that should have been explained to you.
From the network that knows drama.
The disc, the girl, the guns. By dawn, they don't exist.
See Arnold Schwarzenegger and Vanessa Williams in Racer. Tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Pacific on TNT.
90 miles into the Pepsi 400 in Michigan. Kevin Harvick is the leader by 9/10 of a second over Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's closing in on him.
Getting closer and closer, although last lap they ran about the same speed. Junior had been gaining the last 4 or 5 laps.
Tony Stewart 3rd. Now we check on 4th, 5th, and 6th. Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip, and Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch, another fast car right now.
Jeff Green has slipped back to 7th. Ryan Newman, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Gordon make up the top 10 to this point.
Oh, Jeff Green, so high up in the corner, right up next to the wall, going in the corner.
That?
I don't know. That didn't look like a hot dog wrapper.
Got some trash on his grill?
It's like a piece of cellophane or plastic wrap.
It's the 2nd time he's had some trash on the grill, and again, the water temperature is going up. It went up to 240 earlier in the race, and he got it to come off under green, but he just radioed in. There's something else up there, I think, because I'm losing the handle, and the temperature's going up again.
Yeah, 240's not good.
We see that piece of plastic right in the center of the grill.
And that looked like the stuff we saw in the first of the race out there in 1 and 2, BP.
Now, Bill Elliott is running back in 29th place. Remember, he was back last on 43rd when he made a couple of pit stops under that last caution.
Right there, the car's out of gear. Right there, he pulls it back into gear. So what's happening is he's going in, and when you get off the throttle, that gear shifter, right where his hand is popping out of gear. So he's okay now when he's on the gas. So let's just watch when he goes into one.
He's
taking out of gear.
He is. He's knocking it out of gear himself.
Yep. That's because it's jumping out of gear, and he would rather jump out of gear or get out of gear where he wants it to instead of when you're going down in there. I will see a bungee cord in the future.
Yeah, I think if they do have a caution flag, I do believe someone's going to jump in the car, put a cord that he can hook onto that shifter and hold it in gear. Watch it go down to 2,000 RPMs. Now he goes back in gear.
But see, by him doing that, he's controlling it. If it jumps out of gear with your hand off it, the RPMs will go all the way over to the right, and you can not only hurt the engine, but you also could crash.
And Bill Elliott 8th in points right now, and in a very tight fight there, as are all the top 10, so he doesn't need that.
I'm amazed how Bill Elliott is able to do this. He's passing cars. Here he goes by Robbie Gordon and doing this all at the same time.
And this is a place you probably could get away with the BP. It'd be pretty tough to do at Darlington or somewhere like that.
Meanwhile, Earnhardt Jr. has caught the 29 car. And now it looks like those 4 tires this time on Junior's car is better than the 2 tires on Harvick's car.
Here he comes. Harvick has led 41 laps so far today. Kevin Harvick talking to his team a moment ago about that 2-tire stop. Here's what he had to say.
For most of that run right there, you were about 2 tenths faster than the car behind you.
10-4, I'm kind of moving around a little bit just to see if I can find something.
Super, I think it'll get a lot better too when we get a chance to get 4 stickers on that thing, get the scuffs off the left.
Just can't afford to right now, I don't think.
Now, if it'll ever run out of gas right here, everybody's going to have to get 4. I mean, some of the guys in the back right there got 4 in the end, but we'll get them next time.
Yeah, and Kevin pretty much let Earnhardt Jr. go there, because if a guy's got 4 tires and he's on your bumper and you only have 2, your car can get real loose when he's behind you, as close as Junior was there.
And he got those wrappers off the grill. There were actually 2 up there, but he got behind Harvick, got him off the grill, and then went by him.
Pretty good corner then. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back out in front of the Pepsi 400. Just past 100 miles of the event are complete. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. TNT Sports coverage of NASCAR comes to you today from Brooklyn, Michigan, and the Michigan International Speedway, where the Pepsi 400 is just past its 1/4 point. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader. Time for our singular call to the pits. I've got Bill Weber on the speed dial. Bill?
And I was going to let the machine get it out of them because this race is so good. But I'll tell you, the Bud Chevy that started on the pole is pretty good too. Brand new race car. Only time it's been on the track, tested in Kentucky. Good in, tight in the center. Got the wrappers off the grill, halfway on fuel. It's Earnhardt Jr. so far. Right behind him, the 29 of Kevin Harvick. They've had 2 pit stops, have changed 2 tires both times, so they still have scuffs on the left side. They've changed rights both times. They had to start the race on the tires they qualified on. When they get 4 tires on it, it'll be a little loose, but Harvick's a little tight, as we heard him talk about. Dave?
Matt Kenseth trying to hold off Tony Stewart. Kenseth told me this morning he's going to try to run the bottom of the track all day long because not as many cars run well down there. He feels he can. The 20 car of Tony Stewart, well, 4 tires, you bet. They are working very fine for the 20 car right now. Marty?
Balance very good for Ryan Newman, Dave. He just picked up another spot. He's up into the 5th position. The car is coming to him. One of the cars took 4 tires last time. They think that will be better on the longer run, and that's where Ryan's good, on the longer type of runs. Dave?
This morning, Kurt Busch's team was ready to push his car to the line, but they pushed it back in. The motor builder thought that he heard something wrong. They did not. His car is running fine. The motor is very strong. Michael Waltrip had problems earlier with his radio. He couldn't hear his crew, and when he talked, nothing but static. He has a second radio in the car. He flipped a switch to the second radio. Everything is fine now for Michael. Marty?
Sterling Marlin is saying nothing on the radio, and his crew says, you know what, that's good. He's in the 8th position. They too took 4 tires last time, and again, hadn't said a word, so they're very happy with the chassis. They really need a top 10, only 2 in their last 8 races, Matt.
Marty, Jeff Green looking for his first career win, runs back in the 9th position. He's taken 2 tires, 2 right side tires on both of his pit stops, but now he thinks because the left sides are old that the left front is starting to wear out. The car is tied in traffic. He wants to free it up. It's getting much worse off the corners, Bill.
Jeff Gordon says if he had to win a race, he'd want to go to Watkins Glen or Sonoma because he runs so well there. But if you ask him his favorite track, he'll tell you it's Michigan. He's had a lot of success here. The car is a little too free right now. They'll take a rubber out of the right rear on the next stop. The 48 car, the car he co-owns, the driver that he found, Jimmy Johnson, around the 24, remember? That's because the 24 is too free. How about that 48, Marty? Great. Doing a great job is that young guy, Jimmy Johnson. They are good into the corner, a little loose off. They're talking about a track bar adjustment next time. Remember, he started 29th, and he's already way up in the 10th position and back upstairs to Allen.
Watching Dale Jarrett there continue to pick his way back up through the field after that early spin that brought out the first caution of the race.
That is impressive, Jarrett, to restart the race at the tail end of the lead lap cars and work his way towards the front.
Dale Jarrett running in 12th place right now, Dave.
And I just checked with his pits guys for that earlier fender damage from when he had the spin. No problems there. Dale did report that the car is a little bit better, but it's still loose. They're going to make an adjustment for that next time he comes into the pits. Bill?
Ricky Craven in a battle on the track with Gordon to his left. Now a battle up front for second.
And that's Allen. Just Matt Kenseth going by Kevin Harvick to pick up that spot, Bill. So Kenseth, the winner here in June, moving toward the front. All right, let's go back to Bill on Ricky Craven.
And Craven continues his battle on the track. The only problem with his car is that it's been tight off the corner. So last time, 4 tires and a wedge adjustment trying to make Ricky Craven a little stronger. This team announced they'll go to Pontiacs next year, Matt.
Bill, the other Yates rocket belonging to Ricky Rudd took on 2 tires. His first steps of the car was good, but he saw a lot of other cars sliding around. The last stop, 4 tires, no adjustments. Rudd very happy with the race car. He's climbed up to 13th, Marty.
Matt, what a great run for Dave Blaney. Started 36 up to 15th. Ryan Pemberton, the crew chief, told me this morning it's either a hero or zero day for us. Looks like they're heroes so far, and they're used to coming from the back to the front here in Michigan. And this race last year started 41st, finished 6th. Matt?
Marty, Jeff Burton runs at 16th. His team, they're comparing their notes and set up to the 17. They're looking at the air pressures and the lines that Matt Kenseth is running on the racetrack. Jeff wants what Matt has. They made a lot of adjustments, Bill. He's very loose.
Behind him on the track is Bobby Labonte, and Labonte fans, listen. Early in this race, Bobby came across on the radio and said, you guys listen, this is the best car we've had all year. This is from a guy that's already won once. Best car we've had all year. I'm going to drive my butt off. Dave?
Marty, Johnny Benson radioed in that his car is acting funny. He meant the motor. How optimistic are racers? Crew Chief James Ince called for the binoculars. He can't see a wrapper or anything on there. He wants to look really close and see if he can see anything on the front of the car that might relate to motor problems. As for the 6 of Mark Martin, he told me earlier today that his car doesn't do the good things it's supposed to do on new tires. It doesn't do the good things it's supposed to do on old tires. He's been frustrated this entire weekend just trying to keep that car running and maintain his 2nd place position in the points. Bill?
The 44 car of Jerry Nadeau battling with the 6 car on the racetrack here at Michigan. The 44 and the 6 on the track. And as you can see, Jerry Nadeau is currently in 19th place. Good run so far, trying to hang in the top 20, adjust the car, get it a little stronger. 44 of Nadeau. Meanwhile, the 43 of John Andretti, a track where he hasn't had tremendous success here, but also hanging on in the top 20. John Andretti started 10th in this race, trying to ride the high line here at Michigan and get his way to the front. Meanwhile, Steve Park has a brand new contract for 2003 and a relatively good race car. Used pit strategy earlier in the race to get himself forward, slipped back further in the field, but this morning Park was optimistic about his chances of a strong finish here at Michigan, Matt.
Bill trying to reel in the one. It's a 26 car of Todd Bodine, heartbroken over what could have been a win yesterday, trying to bounce back today. He started all the way back in the 22nd position in the last stop, a 4-tire change. His car was tight, especially up off the corner. They adjusted with wedge. Dave?
Bill Elliott right now, no plans to hand him a bungee cord through the window, according to crew chief Mike Ford. He has won here 7 times. They're going to try to do anything they can, however, to help him win today. Alan?
So Bill Elliott continues to struggle after leading 6 laps early in the race, driving one-handed at 160-plus miles an hour.
That's his problem. His car is jumping out of gear. And while I guess he's choosing to slip it up into neutral so he can put both hands on the steering wheel as he goes down in the corner.
That's why I'm surprised they don't just get a bungee cord and wrap that thing back. But it might take too much time to do.
They're going to get a chance here in about another 12 or 13 laps. We should see everyone on pit road here as we've had a very long green flag run.
But I don't think we see that happen under a green.
Fine. Okay. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. You see the interval back to Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, and Tony Stewart round out the top 5. 67 of 200 laps are complete. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
The Pepsi 400 from Michigan International Speedway, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes or grab life by the horns. By Stolichnaya Citrona Premium Malt Beverage. Tonight, we drink Citrona. By Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy. And by new high-endurance clear gel from Old Spice.
72 laps complete here at the Michigan International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out in front of the Pepsi 400, and we're coming to the beginning of the window for green flag pit stops. Everybody was last in under the caution at lap 29. 50 laps is the magic number.
And these guys, a lot of guys said they would probably pit the first time on the green flag around 47, 48 laps just to make sure that they didn't run out of fuel, because the worst thing that could happen to you would be run out of fuel right here and have to coast all the way around this 2-mile speedway. You'd be a couple of laps down the time you got to the pits, got fuel, and got back out.
Jeremy Mayfield was just on pit road and now back off again in one of Ray Evernham's Dodges. Tony Raines is on pit road with the hood up on his car. Brett Bodine has just come back onto the track. He spent 15 laps behind the wall getting repairs made to his car. There's Raines.
And we see him pushing the car towards the garage area, so he will finish 42nd, 43rd today. Mike Skinner has the 4 car on pit road.
There's Skinner. Had to pull out a backup car after a practice crash on Friday. Qualified that backup car 14th.
That thing is overheating bad.
And that's because there's paper on the grill. Skinner had radioed in that it was getting hotter. Let's see if that paper falls off the front of the grill or they take it off. I don't think they've seen it. Now they got it. They got the tires on, clean the grill. We'll see if that cools off the car. It certainly should, but you can see that vent spewing speed, Steve. And now coming down pit road, Steve Park had an outstanding qualifying run, started 4th, and go around to the right side. You'll have to watch and see how many teams take 2 and how many teams take 4 on their stops. They make a wedge adjustment on Park, come around to the left side. So he's going to get 4. Some of these guys that only took 2 under caution are going to get burned here if they have to pit under green, because they're going to lose time by having to take 4. Here comes Park.
Top of the screen, Joe Nemechek coming at you, just leaving after his pit stop. That's Mike Wallace, also on the pit road in A.J. Foyt's Conseco car.
You know, I think that Mike Skinner probably lost enough water that I don't know if it's going to cool off or not, because all that coming out the overflow was steam and water.
I agree, Benny. I think that, that they were pushing a lot of water when they came out pit road, so he may not have enough in that engine.
Skinner back on track after his pit stop. Now Moore coming onto the pit road. Got Ward Burton in. Behind him, Casey Atwood is pitted. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon also slowing down and coming off the track.
Alan Ward Burton tight all day. Another massive track bar adjustment for the 22 car. 4-tire change, a little bit of trouble by Tom Hubert getting the tire on the left rear. DeMille.
Jeff Gordon on pit road for 4 tires. They also plan to take a rubber out of the right rear to help improve the handling problem. He's just been tight since the race got going. So it's 4 tires. Dave?
Bill Elliott's car, not too bad. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, a little bit tight off of turn 4. 4 tires for Elliott, full of fuel, and he's leaving pit road. Matt Kenseth also coming in now. Bill, we'll go to you on the 8 car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. darts in behind Bill Elliott, comes to his pit stall, the very first one in turn 1, so he's got an easy exit here. They're going to make a chassis adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. He's good in 1 and 2, just a little bit tight in 3 and 4. But it's been an outstanding run for Jr., who started from the pole. Left rear is done, waiting on the left front, tight the lugs. Jr.'s on his way.
Good stop for Jr. and those guys. But Kenseth, here he comes, the 17 car, right behind him. Ryan Newman on pit road.
Ryan had taken over the lead when Junior pitted, Marty.
Ryan Newman very happy with the car. Got a little bit tight there at the end of the run, but they are very good on the longer runs. They think that's going to be their strength later today. Well within their fuel window now. It'll be 4 tires, and they make no adjustments. Dave.
Tony Stewart's very strong race car is still a little bit tight. They're going to make a track bar adjustment for Tony, and they're going to change 4 tires on this car. The crew has picked up about a half a second the last 6 weeks, practicing hard, making sure they give Tony the fastest stops they can. Matt.
Dave, the 99 of Jeff Burton in. He entered pit road just outside of the top 10. He's already away. Just a wedge adjustment. They couldn't go down any lower on the track bar. Bill.
Now Robbie Gordon zooming down pit road, has to smoke the tires, stops it just past the mark on his pit stall. Basically did not see the stall until he was just about here. Right side tires and a chassis adjustment. It's been a little tight through most of the race, around to the left side. His teammate Kevin Harvick was also on pit road, had to take 4 tires under green. Dave.
Last time Kurt Busch was in, his car was tight in, a little loose off. They made a wedge and track bar adjustment. They're going to crank on it again, trying to make the car better. 4 tires for Busch, and he's gone. Matt?
Service is completed on the 30 car, Jeff Green. Timmy Latigan, Ron Liddell slips in the pit, falls down. They made a track bar adjustment. The car just too tight in traffic, needed to free it up.
Ricky Rudd took over the lead when Kurt Busch stopped. Now Rudd is on the pit lane for his service. Matt?
And Ricky Rudd already in for service. The guys are on the left side. Ricky told Fabak, I just don't know what to tell you. I just can't get this race car to get into the racetrack. They made an air pressure adjustment.
Man, oh man, they almost got $700 more than my money. 13.4, easy, guys.
And he almost jumped off this booth here at the
Great
top of the roof.
stop.
He already gave out 700 on the pre-race. On the countdown to green, he thought he was going to have to give out some more.
And here's Kenseth in front of Junior after the exchange of pit stops.
And this will be the lead now that Ricky Rudd has stopped. So Matt Kenseth, great pit work by that team.
That's why they got the
debris on the racetrack. Caution is out. Everyone had pitted, so nobody gets caught here a lap down. But the yellow flag's going to wave for the 3rd time in the race. So don't expect, well, never know, maybe somebody will come back in, but the leaders have just stopped under the green, and the caution flag is out in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. Under caution in the Pepsi 400 at the Michigan International Speedway for debris on the racetrack in between turns 3 and 4. None of the front runners came down pit road under the caution. As we surmised, they all stayed on the track, having just stopped under green.
They just couldn't give away that track position to come in. Some of them probably want to make changes, but you just can't give that much track position away.
Course pit summary, Kevin Harvick on the losing end of the front runners this past time. Kurt Busch and Dale Jarrett really were the big gainers, with Busch and Jarrett moving into 4th and 5th positions after their stops.
And Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, we saw him spin earlier. He has a very good race car, and he's probably hot enough right now, mad enough that he's very focused on trying to get that car to the front and make amends for spinning off turn 4.
Next weekend, we go from the 200-mile-an-hour action of this 2-mile Michigan Speedway to the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway. They'll be knocking fenders, and there'll be all kind of mad people. Coverage begins Friday on TNT with Bud Pole qualifying. Friday night, it's the Busch Series race presented by Cab Rental Stores. And then next Saturday night, the Sharpie 500. Coverage begins with Discover Card countdown to green at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
You see these cars running 2, 3 wide. through the corners here at the Michigan Speedway. Next week at Bristol, they get 3 wide. You'll see the biggest wreck you've ever seen in the history of stock car racing.
If they get 3 wide, they'll be crashing.
Yes.
Bristol.
Now we got a restart coming up. You see those 2 red lines on the wall on the left, along with the orange cone on top of them. That is the area that the leader is supposed to restart the race here at Michigan today. Last week at Watkins Glen, on the last lap restart, there was some discussion as to whether or not Tony Stewart jumped the gun.
Well, I mean, obviously he jumped the gun. Tony admitted that he jumped the gun because he saw those guys back there. He said, those guys are setting me up to beat me. They're going to try to get the jump on me, so I'm going to get the jump before they do.
Earlier today, I spoke with NASCAR Winston Cup Series Director John Darby and asked him for his interpretation of that last restart by Tony Stewart at Watkins Glen. Here's what he said.
The leader's worked all day for that position, and he has earned the right to control, to a point, those restarts. If the leader starts the race and he starts it properly and nobody else in the race goes, it obviously looks much worse than what it did, and that's part of what happened last week. Even in talking to the drivers that were behind the 20 at Watkins Glen, they didn't have a full-blown effort on that last restart, and that made it appear worse than it did. Took every inch of the rule, took it to the extreme advantage. Yeah, he did. Was it out of bounds? No, I don't believe it was.
And I agree with John. If you're the leader, you should be setting the pace. I know there is an area where you should restart, because frankly, Tony caught those guys behind him sleeping. So I would have done the same thing. If you want an advantage, especially if you only have 1 lap of racing left, I would have taken it.
You'd have caught anybody sleeping if you'd have started up in turn 11 like Tony did, Wally.
Yeah, but that's for the win, so I'm glad I would have caught them all.
Well, and Tony again, he saw the guys back there, he got a jump, and away he went. But, I mean, obviously, he restarted very, very early. If I'm in the position that NASCAR's in, what do? I probably would have black flagged Tony for jumping the start.
And they have done that before.
Oh, yes, it's been done before. But they didn't. Tony won the race, and again, he had a pretty tough week the week prior to that, so.
Now, like John said, those 2 guys behind were, Ryan Newman and Robbie Gordon were not expecting that, and they got caught sleeping. They should have been paying attention a little bit more because they had to know it was coming.
And as it's described to the drivers in the weekly drivers briefing, the restart is in the vicinity of the double red line.
We don't know how many yards vicinity is.
Well, that's it. And as John said, it's given the leader of the race the leeway. He is in control of restarting the race.
That famous gray area. That's the vicinity area.
All right, right there, somewhere around those 2 red lines, Matt Kenseth is supposed to hit the throttle.
Ready?
Ready?
Ready, and green.
You see, he was past those double red lines before he hit the throttle.
And that's his prerogative, too.
That's his prerogative. And the second place car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., can't go by him until he accelerates, the leader.
So what we're saying is restarts are kind of like pass interference in football. What contact is pass interference and what isn't? Same thing with these restarts. It's in the vicinity of, but the leader's sort of in charge.
It's a little bit different here because, first of all, you've got a wall you can be up on the right side. So you're not going to get past on the right side on an oval because you're up against a wall. You're not going to get past at the start-finish line. At Watkins Glen, if you restart where that cone is and you waited to that cone, you would be 4th getting into turn 1 because the guys behind you will anticipate it and they'll make a run on you and I believe pass you before you get into turn 1.
So I guess it's good for Tony. You weren't the referee last week, MVP.
That's true.
You'd have thrown the penalty flag. Matt Kenseth is the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second. They're locked up for 3rd. Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman. Jimmy Johnson is running right behind them in 5th. And then Dale Jarrett coming all the way back from the lap 12 spin down into the tri-oval grass. Right now he's running 6th, Dave.
Well, Alan, we thought that might deflate DJ just a little bit, or at least hurt his car, Todd. It doesn't seem like it did either.
No, if you want drama, that's what you call drama on TNT right there. Those first 80 laps were pretty exciting. We made some changes to the car yesterday after happy hour. The car was a little bit tight from the center out, and obviously we got the car a little bit too free. And the car was fast, but just pinched it down there off of turn 4, got the thing a little bit loose and spun out. And we got a great race car. We made a couple of chassis changes, pulled a spring rubber out, and the thing's really bad fast. I mean, we've gone all the way from the back all the way up to the top 5. us. So we got a great race car, a great race team, and an awesome engine here today. So hopefully we can bring this UPS Ford Taurus home today in first. And I'd just like to take a minute and say hey to Debbie, Tyler, and Chandler back home watching it, and all my skid friends up there at Lake Norman.
They're seeing a heck of a race up front, aren't they, guys?
Goes Junior to the lead, the 8 car back to the front.
Remember, Matt Kenseth got the spot away from Junior just off the green flag pit stops.
But something's going on with Tony Stewart. We were talking about just a moment ago, and he has fallen back to the last time by 19th position.
6 seconds behind Dale Jr.
Kurt Busch going to that second position by Kenseth. Here comes Ryan Newman in the 12.
Chevy, Ford, 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 Chevy, Ford, Chevy. That's the way the top 7 run. Top Dodge is Sterling Marlin in 11th place. Top Pontiac is Bobby Labonte in 13th.
And Kurt Busch, the 97 car. He must be confused. The Sharpie 500 is next Saturday night.
He's stalking right now.
That's the stalk mode?
He's in stalk mode.
Looking low. Looking low. He's there. He's there.
Well, that's the passing mode there.
Yes, it is. Kurt Busch goes to the point.
Oh, almost. Junior may take it back on the outside.
Well, he's got the draft and help, like we talked earlier. Not that he needed it right there.
Yeah, he needs that high groove through 1 and 2.
That's Ty Norris, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s spotter, talking to his driver. Dave, what's up with Tony Stewart?
Well, he radioed in, guys. His quote was, "It's all over the place." He's not quite sure what is wrong with it, but it seems to be getting better. And then he commented that it's the same trouble they've been having the last couple of weeks. So if that's the case, according to Tony, it does get better. And at this moment, it has gotten better.
Now, the last couple of weeks, Tony was talking about vapor lock and the fuel situation on restarts. I wonder if that's what he's talking about.
That's exactly what he was talking. That's one reason he said that he jumped back to the restart at Watkins Glen. That's one reason that he said he started so soon, because his car the fuel would boil and vapor lock, and going down in turn 1, he would lose power. And he was afraid all those guys would get past him, as Wally said, and pass him down in turn 1. So maybe, once again, he has the same problem, vapor locking or boiling the fuel on these caution flags.
Just something up with Jeff Burton, Matt?
Right now, Al, he's running back in the 14th position. The concern, the car could be overheating. He came on the radio 3 laps ago and said, Frank, the water temperature is fluctuating between 220 and 240. Now he says it's around 240. Jeff Paxton, the lead engine specialist for Roush Racing, is down here in the pit. They were talking about getting some stop leak stuff to put in the car if they had to. And then Jeff came on and said, Frank, I smell something. I smell something.
I smell a leak change, Matt. Kurt Busch. Okay, I see one. That's pretty good. Kurt Busch by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Ryan Newman right in the mix as well. We're coming up on halfway in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Give it up, hey. Wally!
I always wanted to shoot this gun, and I was aiming at this lantern over at the Coleman deal, and I hit it.
That was on the TNT Pepsi stage here in Michigan before the race this morning.
I was shooting T-shirts, but they had a big Coleman lantern over there, and I aimed for it. I don't know how I hit it, but
so
they were shocked.
What have we learned here, Benny? Don't tick Wally off when there's a gun of any kind around.
I got you.
He's good with it.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's fallen back to the 4th position. You saw Kurt Busch, the leader, go by Ryan Newman, currently in 2nd spot. Kenseth in 3rd. Right now, the Roush-Coutiers are doing pretty good. Kurt Busch leading. Kenseth in 3rd spot.
Got a good race going on for 9th, 10th, 11th. Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Johnson. Johnson in the 48, Rudd in the 28. And here comes Bobby Labonte in the 18.
Look at that. I mean, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Just drives up beside of Jimmy Johnson.
How about championship standings at this point in the race? Sterling Marlin is in 7th. Mark Martin is in 19th place. Jimmy Johnson is running in 10th.
Look at him, almost 4 wide, 4 different lines down through 1 and 2.
Let's mention that Casey Atwood has gone to the garage with the 7 car.
And so did Brett Bodine. I saw him go just a moment ago.
And Tony Raines is also, he's retired from the race. Overheating on that 74 car. Mikey in the middle.
Yeah, Michael's car's working pretty good in the middle right now. He picked his way through all those cars. 48 gets in real good of Jimmy Johnson, but then he's got to use all the racetrack. It looks like the car just keeps sliding all the way to the top. Michael can stay in the middle.
Check this out. We are at halfway right now. Kurt Busch is the leader. Only 3 of the last 20 Michigan races has the driver leading at halfway won.
Kurt should have backed up and let Newman lead that lap, huh?
There's a time when leading the halfway lap paid some money, and they used to fight over that pretty hard. You drivers will fight for any time there's $5 on the line.
We still ask, is there any halfway money in this race?
Jeff Burton, evidently the overheating problem hasn't gotten any worse because he's fighting his way through his pack of cars.
There are the top 2, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman. They are 2.9 seconds ahead of Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3rd and 4th place drivers, just past halfway in the Pepsi 400. Primetime Top 25 college football returns to TBS Saturday nights beginning September 14th. Featuring the Big 12 and Pac-10 conferences. It's Big Play Saturday only on the Superstation.
Get out of the way. Oh man. She's going to run right in traffic.
Bud. Kurt Busch leads Ryan Newman. Just past the 200-mile mark of the Pepsi 400. 7 different drivers have led today, 13 lead changes. Kurt Busch took the lead at lap 93. We are at 106 right now.
Well, it looks like I talked about at the very top of the show about the Chevrolets and the Pontiacs getting the little bit of downforce help, but right now we've got 3 Fords up front.
Here are a bunch of Chevys and Pontiacs, though. 3 of each. Plus the Ford of Dave Blaney. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte racing for 14th place. And check this out, Dale Jarrett continuing to roll. This is 4th place. See that something flopping around on Sterling Marlin's car there on the hood?
Piece of plastic, I think.
Riding on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the middle of this fight. We intercepted this off his team radio a little while ago, talking tire strategy.
We're going to be off like 20 laps from the end, so I'm going to build up another set, kind of like what you got on there for the next stop, and then I'll have you another set that kind of tightens you up a little bit for that 20-lapper.
I don't want you to do much to try to tighten me up. By that point, the track should be coming to us a lot, but if we continue to adjust like we are, stop after stop, we're just going to stay this way driving-wise at the beginning. It's good for a long run, but it'll be too loose for the beginning if we have a short sprint at the end. I'll try 2 tires. I'm not scared to do it.
Now, that was a little while ago. Since then, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has told Tony Eury Jr. the car's a little loose in the middle, rather a little loose in and tight in the middle. And what they did is they adjusted the spring rate in the car by using the tires, because that information comes from Goodyear. What the tires they put on to test for later in the race are no good. Junior doesn't want them. So just moments ago, Tony Eury Jr. told Dale Earnhardt Jr. that we're going to go back to the way the car was, go back to a different spring-rated tire that we had earlier in the race. We'll run the car the way it was fast, and we'll see what happens late in the race. So they tried something now to see if it would help them later in the race. It didn't help them now. They won't use it later.
And when you talk about spring-rated tires, Bill, you're actually talking about a softer ride, a softer tire, or a stiffer, firmer ride. You're almost changing the spring rate in the rear of the cars, or the front of the cars, depending on the tires that you're talking about.
This Michigan International Speedway is one of the fastest tracks in NASCAR. Got speed traps set up around the racetrack at various points. Let's check out how fast they're going.
And see who the fastest car might be. We saw that time that the 12 car so far has been the fastest car, and the leader is not in the top 10.
Now that was into turn 3. Now we check the start-finish line speed trap.
And you're going to see higher speeds if you have cars draft on each other. That's why you'll see a 3 mile an hour, 4 mile an hour change or difference there, because if they're drafting, you're going to see a higher speed.
Ricky Craven there to start-finish line. Now back to turn 3 again.
See, once again, the 12 car is faster down the straightaway than Kurt Busch. So Kurt Busch must really be getting to the corners well, because each straightaway speed that we've seen, the 12 car has been faster.
But like Wally said just a second ago, though, Ryan is getting the tow from Kurt in the draft.
Right, he's getting a little bit of help right there at the end, which is like right here. You see he came off the corner probably 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of Ryan, but Ryan is right on his tail getting into 1, and that's the draft. And they got a pretty good motor, obviously. They always do, but the draft does help here.
Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman, the top 2, 3.8 seconds ahead of third place Matt Kenseth. Fords with the top 4 spots right now in the Pepsi 400. New leader in the Pepsi 400 at the Michigan International Speedway. Ryan Newman has just slipped and slid his way up in front of Kurt Busch off of turn number 4 about a lap and a half ago.
And about this point into a run, you're right, these cars really are slipping and sliding.
Busch led from lap 93 to 113. And let's check it out. I said slipped and slid his way in front of Kurt Busch. Watch this.
It's on the inside, and
this is the beginning of it.
This is the beginning. All right, we're going down the backstretch.
The slipping and sliding happens off turn 4.
Talk about power. Did you see that run down the backstretch?
Now,
and then there's a slide job right here.
And watch him as he gets up, and Kurt Busch gets the air under that back bumper. Ooh, hello, Dolly.
And see a lot of that today off of turn 4.
I'm sure that's a very comfortable feeling inside that race car.
Lovely. Lovely.
Craftsman Truck update as they continue the fight for the championship in that division. Look at it, 100 points all the way back through 5th place. Terry Cook's kind of been the hottest driver in the truck series of late.
Mike Bliss, the winner of the last event.
Checking up on Bill Elliott with our Little Debbie trivia quiz. The driver to win 4 straight NASCAR Winston Cup races at 1 super speedway.
Let's see. Who would that be?
It's a guy shifting at Michigan.
Yeah, I kind of gave it away there, didn't I?
Yeah.
And still fighting that transmission.
Won both races in 1985 and 1986. Of course, he won most all the races in 1985 anyway, so.
He won 6 of 8 races here in one stretch at Michigan, including those 4 straight. A good little fight here. 11th, 12th, 13th. Jimmy Johnson in the 48's 11th.
Whoa!
Jeff Green on the...
Yeah. I don't think he wanted to be down there.
He's on the bottom of the race. No, he didn't walk, because that's the first time I've seen him on the bottom all day long.
Now Junior kind of slipping back still. Here's Jeff Gordon working Junior for the 8th spot.
20's still on the bottom, though. Tony Stewart's still got his car working low.
And he's working his way back to the front. He'd fallen back to about 20th now. This is trying to take over the 8th spot.
All right, we're only about 5 laps away from what should be green flag pit stops, because we've been going here for a while without a caution. So let's take a break. We'll be back in time for the leaders' visits to pit road. Coming up on green flag pit stops here in the Pepsi 400 at the Michigan International Speedway.
Ryan Newman, the pit win of 45 to 53 laps. He's been 45 since he stopped last. And Kurt Busch all of a sudden is about to lose 2nd spot as Kenseth goes by on the very top of the racetrack, and Busch right down on the yellow line.
Marty?
Jimmy Johnson pulls into these big pit stalls here at Michigan. Started loose. They went a little too far with the last adjustment, Alan. He was too tight on this pass run. These guys are in a backup car. It's run 3 times this year. Only finished out of top 10 once, having a great run from the back to the front.
Elliott Sadler's already been on and off pit road as we watch Tony Stewart, Ricky Craven, and Ricky Rudd race for 8th, 9th, and 10th.
And you see Dale Earnhardt Jr. just come in the back of that picture, has fallen back to the 11th position.
Now, if you watch the running score at the top of the screen, as we go through these green flag pit stops, what we're going to start doing beginning today, when someone has made their pit stop already in the cycle, you'll see their name turn to yellow. See Elliott Sadler, so you know that he's already pitted in this cycle of stops, and the guys whose names are still shown in white have not been in yet.
You saw Jeff Burton's name there. He had been on the pit road and put some water in the car. He had overheated. They had to put some water in to try to cool it down. Whether or not that's going to work or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Jeff Gordon hanging a left. Pit road for Gordon. He stops from 7th place.
We'll pit in about 3 more laps. Just try nursing it all.
What's up there with Kurt Busch, Matt?
Well, Alan, that Ford sounded sick when he went by. It sounded like he'd lost a cylinder. Bill.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road. Car's a little loose. This will be 4 tires and fuel. If Gordon is running at the finish of this race, he'll set a modern era record for consecutive races without a DNF. He's currently tied with the late Dale Earnhardt. Also, as you all know, Gordon hasn't won in 30 races since Kansas City. Marty!
48 races since Rusty Wallace last won, and extremely tight. Looks like it's going to be 49 races, Bill. 2 pounds out of the right front tire and 2 rounds of wedge out for Rusty.
Man, that's a big adjustment.
Huge adjustment.
Bobby Labonte, Kyle Petty, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Jeremy Mayfield, all on pit road, Matt.
Rudd hit pit road in the 13th position. He says he wishes his car was like it was in the previous run. He also wanted to know what Dale Jarrett was running for pressures because he felt like Jarrett had a better car, but Babak told him they were already that close. Bill!
Bobby Labonte on pit road. They had 2 spring rubbers in the left rear to start this race. They have taken both of them out, so now their adjustments are with wedge and air pressure. This is 4 tires and fuel. They've already told Bobby, think about what you're going to want down the line. He's on his way.
Matt Kenseth is in, Tony Stewart is in, Sterling Marlin is in, and also Dale Earnhardt Jr. Marty?
And a great run for Sterling Marlin up to the 5th position. Car really comes to him on the long run. They were going to make a wedge adjustment. They decided to go track bar instead. Dave, to you.
And Marty, last time Tony Stewart radioed in that the car was very uncomfortable on that restart. Didn't think it was vapor lock. They make an adjustment this time to the chassis. Bill?
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on pit road. Remember, we told you he was battling a handling condition he was very unhappy with. We're going to change it with the spring grade of the tires. Try and soften up the handle a little bit, Marty.
Ryan Newman, a tick tight, but he said it's very drivable. They take 1 round of wedge out for the leader. They have had 5 straight top 5 finishes. Nobody's done that in Winston Cup in a year and a half, and he speeds down pit road. Dave.
Mark Martin's car is tight on long runs. In fact, it's worse than he anticipated today. So they're going to try to loosen it up just a little bit, give him 4 tires and send him back out. Matt?
Jeff Green's car's not any better. Still too tight. They made a wedge adjustment, 4-tire change.
And Dale Jarrett took over the lead after the pit stop of Ryan Newman. Here he comes. White car there, top left of your screen. Coming to the attention of the UPS crew. And Dave Burns will cover it for us.
Alan, he's not as fast as he was earlier. That was obvious. He was tight in the center and loose off. So they're going to make an air pressure adjustment to fix that for Dale. And 4 tires as well. Full tank of gas as well for Jarrett. Again, the laps he was running earlier, they were proud of. He came back up through the field, but the car just has not been as stout as it was. Bill?
It's 4 tires for Kevin Harvick. No chassis adjustment, but the last words from Gil Martin, get all the fuel in the cell. Pack the fuel cell. Pack the fuel cell. Dave.
97 car of Kurt Busch leaves pit road. Sounds awful. He's definitely dropped a cylinder in that car. They changed 4 tires, but Kurt said nothing from the time the car went sour. He knew his day was not where he needed it to be.
Kurt has finished 41st in the last 2 straight races, and it looks like today is going to be another disappointing day. Ricky Craven now the leader, and here he comes down pit road, Bill.
And I just talked to his crew chief, Mike Beam, a few laps ago. He said the car's really very good. It's just a little bit loose, but nothing major. They'll change 4 tires and again try and get all the fuel in the car. What they really want is a caution for track position. They make a small wedge adjustment. Now around to the left side. Ricky Craven, 1 career win, came at Martinsville just under a year ago. He's on his way. Further down pit road, Robbie Gordon's in his stall as well. Gordon, they go around to the right side. Robbie's been battling a handling condition all day. They make a chassis adjustment on his car, big track bar adjustment, now around to the left side. So Gordon, who had that strong run at Watkins Glen a week ago, hoping for good things here in Michigan, not getting the results he was looking for when we talked to him this morning.
Stacy Compton is the leader now, last one of the front runners that has not come in yet. And then the lead is going to cycle around to Matt Kenseth. Winner here in June, got a massive lead in the June race by a great green flag pit stop from his crew, and he's going to have about a 1.5 second lead on Ryan Newman after this set of green flag pit stops.
This 92 car, the leader, Stacy Compton, car is owned by Mark Mellin here in Jackson, Michigan, nearby Jackson, Michigan.
There is Stacy. Drove for the Melling team before, and then moved on to A.J. Foyt's operation. And after he split up with that team, they put this deal together to come run at the Melling's home track.
And we stole you, Bill Elliott won 4 straight races here.
Hut Strickland's into the wall. Caution flag is out. Damage to the right side of Bill Davis's Dodge. And yellow flag number 4 comes out with 68 laps to go. And again, just after the completion of a cycle of green flag stops, so who comes in?
Yeah, but it wasn't completed. The 92 hadn't stopped, Alan. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, but the only thing is, Bill, he didn't really catch anybody a lap down. The only guys that were caught by the 92 not having stopped are from 36th place on back. So everybody, and matter of fact, some of them are going by the 92 now.
Trying to go by him anyway.
A little too late.
Yeah. Terry Labonte and Jimmy Spencer, Mike Wallace, Joe Nemechek, those 4 are going to be the ones who are left a lap down. Yeah, so Stacy Compton is your leader, and the caution is out. 67 laps to go in the Pepsi 400 in Michigan.
On pit road works so hard. You'll hear the drivers thank their crews and the guys back at the shop after every race. But these guys out here, the 7 men over the wall, the extra man when they get a chance to clean the windshield, they earn their pay every pit stop, and so important, especially under green flag pit stops, which we just completed, and of course the caution flag pit stops. Great day for Dale Jarrett. Trouble early, came roaring back to the front. After this race, he's going to thank these guys.
I'm John Bryan. I'm the jack man. I'm from Sherrills Ford, North Carolina.
I'm Darren Jolly, a tire carrier, and I'm from Taylorsville, North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Rick Colson, catch cam man, Cornelius, North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Mike Trower. I'm the front tire changer, and I'm from New Hampton, Iowa.
Kevin Stemberis, windshield cleaner, Seattle, Washington.
Hi, I'm Jason Sheets, rear tire changer, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Hi, Jeff Knight, rear tire carrier from Matthews, North Carolina.
I'm Barry Price. I'm the guest man from Westminster, South Carolina.
Dale Jarrett, 59 points out of 10th place in the Winston Cup point standings. He's finished in the top 5 of points in each of the last 6 races. This could be a big day for him.
The Pepsi 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. Experience the joy of Pepsi. By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Pep Boys. Help for your car is just a Pep Boys away. Pep Boys, we're car people. And by Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
Coming to the restart, check our Napa Field summary for the Pepsi 400 today. 10 different leaders. Kevin Harvick has led the most laps.
Cars away, stay ready.
He, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman. They've spent most of the time out in front.
You see Terry Labonte there on the outside leading, but he's actually the last car on the lead lap.
Stacy Compton, the leader, went to pit road. That put Terry, the first one, behind the pace car. He stayed on the track, so he's a full 2 miles behind. And in 36th place.
Ooh, 14th car got loose here.
Mark Wallace in the 13. See Hut Strickland there in the 23, just leaving the picture. He has continued in the race after bouncing off the wall and bringing out this caution flag.
Just saw Tony Stewart go by in the 20 car, so looks like he's back up to speed and he's back up front. Last time by in about the 7th position.
Matt Kenseth leads. Ryan Newman is second. Dale Jarrett's third. Well, okay, change all that last lap by. Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, then Kevin Harvick. Jimmy Johnson. It's a hornet's nest. We'll see how it comes out in a few laps here. '41, Jimmy Spencer, the target car. He's a lap down.
The 12 car, Newman is in second spot. On board with Jimmy Johnson in fourth spot.
And the other one in the mix there, 25, Joe Nemechek. He also got tracked a lap down by that yellow flag.
Tell you what, Johnson didn't stay off the accelerator very long up in turn 3.
Whoa, Ryan. Had a fistful of steering wheel there.
He needs a little help. He needs Harvick to pull behind him, push him by. That's exactly what he did. Almost.
Terry Labonte getting overtaken by the leader, Matt Kenseth, to put him 1 lap down.
Yeah, that was the ultimate slide job there that Newman in the 12 car pulled. He just goes in and lets the car drift right up, and Jimmy Spencer, the 41, wisely backed off the throttle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Jimmy had to back off there a little bit. That's why he lost so much ground there.
Now, talked about the caution coming out when Hut Strickland got into the wall in turns 1 and 2. There was a reason Hut got into the wall.
Say chrome-horned, nerfed, bumped. What other terms can we use, BP?
Let's see.
Just barely.
Yep, just. But you're turning down in there in turn 1, so you feel like you're wrecking anyway.
I guess the answer is nerfed.
Nerfed.
Robbie Gordon, by the way, that onboard view from.
And Steve Park is spinning up in turns 3 and 4.
Got another one spinning. Is that Nadeau?
Jerry Nadeau behind him. Caution is out. 2 cars, separate spins.
And Wally, believe it or not, we're getting to the point of fuel mileage.
It's getting right there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now, they're coming back to the caution flag. Matt Kenseth, the leader.
What did Alan say? A smorgasbord of strategy.
Yes.
Strategy. That's what it was.
So Terry Labonte, Jimmy Spencer, both. Kenseth will allow both these guys to get a lap back.
And he was racing Terry pretty hard down the backstretch, and then he decided it wasn't worth it. So he backed out. They were coming back through the accident scene.
Well, let's see. What do we have? Boy, that is right on the line, isn't it? I think I'd be coming in as they were getting the green. I'd come in and get, 1 lap before green, come in and get the fuel.
Yeah, 50, 52 laps, maybe 53. Most you're going to get on fuel. There are 58 to go now.
Let's see what happened here. Boy, they're in a pack. Looks like Park just got loose and got sideways there.
Looked to me like that going in.
Maybe he did that slide up that we were talking about earlier. We didn't catch all of it.
Wow. And into the wall he goes. And Nadeau had jumped off the throttle back there to avoid the spinning Steve Park, and he spins out. Looked like Steve there might have gone in the corner right behind,
Todd Bodine there.
Todd Bodine. I thought maybe he had to back off the throttle because of Todd Bodine, but that replay did not show that.
Boy, he scrubbed off a lot of speed and still hit hard.
Yeah, that's the shot I was looking at. Looked like they ran him right behind Todd and had to jump off the throttle quickly. And when you jump off the accelerator on these things quickly, the car will spin on you.
Let me ask you something. Just watching the front end of that car jump, these soft springs that everybody's running contribute to unstabilizing that car?
Could very well.
Maybe.
All right, here they all come. Most all.
Here's where we're going to be packing fuel right now.
Marty?
Ryan Newman's already gone. His 2.6-second deficit on the track erased by the caution flag, but now he is 6 laps short of his fuel window for making the rest of the way on fuel. Dave.
Matt Kenseth's not here either, Marty. He took on 2 tires, filled it full of fuel. He's back down pit road.
And it's the dash out to the end of pit road.
Close race to that line where they score how you come off a pit road between Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick and Dale Jarrett.
About 3 or 4 cars. You're right, Alan. 3 or 4 guys. All right, let's see. Who won the race? We have a camera right on the line. It looks like it's Junior. Number 1. Number 2 spot goes to Jarrett. Harvick.
The advantage of qualifying first. You pick that first pit stall, and all you got to do is dump the clutch.
And Kenseth goes from 1st to 4th, leaving the pits.
Now, several guys did not pit under the caution. And Mark Martin is one of them. Jimmy Spencer and Terry Labonte that we saw pass Matt Kenseth coming to the caution. The rule on caution flags is the first time you take the yellow, you're locked in. They got the caution the first time, so they were not eligible to race Matt Kenseth back around. And so they're stopping and letting the pace car catch up, and they're going back a lap down.
So they're waiting for the pace car right now.
Yep. And probably mad.
And mad.
57 laps to go. Strategy galore here. We'll sort it all out for you when we come back to Michigan. Still under caution in the Pepsi 400 here at the Michigan International Speedway while they continue to clean up down in turns 3 and 4 from the Steve Park crash. BP's out at the Roush Racing Team Caliber 360 car. What you got, Benny?
We're always talking about getting these cars down to the racetrack, getting the body close to the racetrack. No air, if possible, no air at all going under the car. And you can see how close this car is to the racetrack. Now we talk about weight on these race cars. You know that they want the weight to be low and as far left as possible. So what happens? You got 700, the powertrain, the engine, transmission. This is about 700 pounds. But when you get the car, the body down to the racetrack that low, the engine and transmission hits the racetrack. So teams have to take that 700 pounds and move it up in the chassis about 1 inch just to get the body down. Raising the weight up, that hurts the car. But they overcome that by getting the body down next to the racetrack. Alan?
All right, BP, thanks. Field going to get the 1 to go signal this time by. The restart's going to be with 53 to go. Who's going to come in and top off the fuel? I can't believe that Kevin Harvick is the only leader to come in.
2 tires, guys, 2 tires.
Bill?
Well, they're going to come down pit road, and a lot of guys just going to top off here. Be very interesting to see what happens. The 24 was going to come down pit road decided not to. Harvick's down on getting right side tires, topping off the fuel, and he's on his way. So various strategies playing out here, Alan.
I can't believe, Bill, that Harvick was the only one of the leaders to come in.
I can't either. And in fact, I was actually down on the 24 pit running back to the 29, and they said they weren't coming in. They're banking that they can make it. It'll be very interesting.
What happened to Mikey there?
I think he just missed his pit. He definitely missed his pit.
Get caught up.
Okay, here are the guys that stopped. Harvick, Bobby Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, Stacy Compton, Bobby Hamilton, Robbie Gordon, Jeff Burton. That doesn't sound good. That Kurt Busch.
Yeah, it was Kurt.
Kurt stopped. Michael Waltrip, Jimmy Spencer, and Derek Cope and Mike Wallace. So those guys should be good to go to the finish on fuel or very close.
Very, very close. Talking to Danny Lawrence, the engine builder on the 29 car. They're very, very close to 53 laps. Dave, what about the 17 car? Can he make it?
His crew chief, Robbie Reiser, just told me we'd be 2 laps short. They really wanted to. Matt wanted to bring it in, but Robbie told him we can't do it. We can't make it.
All right, top 4 on this restart did not pit.
Get ready.
Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, Elliott Sadler, John Andretti did not stop at all under this caution.
Ready, green, green, green.
And again, remember, Terry Labonte in that 5, tail end of the lead lap. He's a full 2 miles 12th behind leader Mark Martin. Nemechek.
That's Spencer in the 41 going blasting up through there, trying to get in front so he can possibly get a lap back. Spencer right now is back in 37th position, 1 lap down.
Boy, Spencer looked like he got loose getting in a 3 there.
Elliott Sadler running 3rd. Wood Brothers 21 car this morning. They finally held the press conference to formally announce Sadler's move to Robert Yates Racing next year. An M&M sponsored car number 38. Not 28, but 38 for Elliott Sadler next year. Here's what he had to say about the change announced this morning.
Man, it's like a dream come true. I get an awesome teammate like Dale Jarrett, some awesome horsepower by Robert and Doug Yates, and man, just looking forward to it. Looking forward to working with Fatback, and everybody at M&M's has been great to me so far. They got some cool characters over there we're going to have on the car, and kind of fits my personality, kind of laid-back personality, so looking forward to good things starting next year.
They call the time of the year in NASCAR that drivers change rides and things go on like that silly season, and this was a big domino in silly season.
And this started back about May when he asked and was given his release from the 21 car, this Motorcraft car.
No word yet on what Ricky Rudd's going to do next year, though.
And Elliott didn't play with that throttle when he got back in, and it was all the way down to the mat.
Now Kevin Harvick that came in and topped off the fuel. Let's check where he's at when he comes across the start-finish line here. There he is, back in 18th place. And Bobby Labonte's gone past him. Bobby also topped off the fuel. So put Bobby up there as the first of the cars who potentially can make it to the finish.
And all of a sudden, Harvick's car just doesn't look up to speed.
He thinks he might have a flat, possible right rear flat. He's not sure.
We'll keep an eye on him, Bill. Mark Martin is the leader, as Harvick runs well back in traffic. Checking him out this time by Harvick's back to 21st. Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr., 3rd place here. Make that 2nd place as he gets it away from the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield. Whoa!
Oh, and Jeremy pulls up right on the back bumper. Here comes DJ by both of them.
What happened there? Earnhardt was pushing off of that corner there in turn 2. He had to jump out of the gas.
That means the 19 car almost got in the back of him as he came off turn 2, huh?
Clear, all clear.
Right there.
And there's Jarrett, that white car right on the bottom of the racetrack.
Curious about the strategy from Mark Martin's team, and we'll try and figure that out here in just a minute, but they have to stop. Dave, what are they thinking?
Alan, I checked with Ben Leslie on that. He is the crew chief for the 6 car. It really didn't gain them anything, according to Ben. They would have to stop one more time anyway, so they stayed out. They'll have to come in around lap 180, but they wanted to stay out and lead a few laps.
And they're obviously counting on the fact that a lot of other people are going to have to stop before the finish of this race as well. Martin leads, 47 laps to go. Wrangler presents 5-star finishes. 11 years ago today here at Michigan, we had a dandy. Dale Jarrett in the red and white car right of the screen, racing Davey Allison to the checkered flag by inches. Dale Jarrett got his first career NASCAR Winston Cup Series win. That was a 5-star finish.
And I had the pleasure of sitting beside his father, Ned Jarrett, and talking about that race today when that race when DJ won his first one.
And Dale just moved to 2nd place today, just slid up in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. to pick off the runner-up spot. He is 2.1 seconds behind Mark Martin.
Been a terrific run for the 88 car of Dale Jarrett today. Spun early in the race, coming off turn 4. Had some damage to the left front fender. They spent some pit stops getting that damage beat back out. Had to restart about 35th or 40th and has fought his way back to the second spot.
Check this out. 4th place on back. Stewart, Marlin, Mayfield, Newman. And more. Johnny Benson in there. Running in 8th place. Martin's leading. Marlin is running 6th. The gap is 53 coming into the race. As of right now, Mark would chop 30 off of that.
On board with Ryan Newman as he comes off turn 4. He's currently in the 7th position. It looks like he's losing some spots.
Down to 11th. Engine problem? Something?
Sounded okay. But it can't be okay because these guys are just driving away from him. And that's not a very offensive posture that he's taken down the backstretch.
Ryan with top 5 finishes in the last 5 straight races. He scored the most points of anyone in the Winston Cup Series the last 6 races.
And Kurt Busch has taken the number 97 into the garage area behind the wall.
Steve Park involved in an accident a little while ago. Marty's with him.
Steve, a lot of damage to the car. I know you had great hopes for today. What happened?
Yeah, just the car's been real loose from the start of the race, and on a restart we just got in a cackle of cars and moved the air around enough and took it off the back of the Pennzoil Chevrolet, and we just got it spun around, and just disappointed. I mean, weekend started off so good. We just signed a new contract and qualified so good, and we just real loose in the beginning of the race, and we just got the car somewhat tightened up and then just got spun around. So I mean, it's just a disappointing day, and we're gonna lick our wounds and go on from here because we've got a great race team, and look forward to seeing that Pennzoil Chevrolet up front again.
Glad to see your OKC at Bristol.
All right, thanks, Marty.
Caution on the track.
Debris in turn 1 is the word I'm getting, Marty.
Well, that kind of takes that fuel situation right out of the... But now what do they do? Splash of gas, 2 tires, 4 tires.
And get you on your fuel.
How many to go right now?
38 when you get to the stripe.
I think 4 tires.
That's Mark Martin communicating with crew chief Ben Leslie.
Top you off for gas.
After what we saw in the NASCAR Busch Series race yesterday, I'd be looking for 4 tires and filling up that fuel here.
And I'd be going for 2.
You know what I'm going to say.
I know you want tires,
I want 5 of them.
You want 5 if possible. Want dual tires in the rear, correct?
You got it.
Even the guys like Bobby Labonte. Bobby moved all the way up to 8th.
Yeah, but still, they got some laps on their tires. Another 38 laps on those tires. There's no way they can hold off a car with 4 fresh tires, or even 2.
We saw Kevin Harvick earlier change 2 tires, and yes, he did fade back through the field, so...
I was going to agree with you. That was the point I was going to make. Is even Bobby, who has the fuel probably to go to the finish, he's probably has to pit here too.
A lot of decisions going to be made on pit road.
And he's in 8th, so he's, you know, all the guys behind him are going to pit. Not all of them, but I think you're right. Bobby should come in and put tires on that car.
33 cars on the lead lap. There'll be 36 laps to go when they come back around.
I think everybody's going to come in.
I agree. But I don't think there'll be some 2-tire players here.
Yeah.
They don't need a full load of fuel.
It's a smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord of strategy coming up.
I like that.
All right. It's all up to the pit crews right now. Jeff Burton stays out. And he is one of them that's on the lead lap. Dave?
Still waiting on Mark Martin to see whether they're going to take 2 or 4. We do know that further down pit road, Dale Jarrett is going to go for 4 tires. So we'll keep our eye on Mark Martin and DJ now. Martin's crew goes to the right side. It looks like they're going to go ahead and give him 4 tires. 4 for DJ as well as a wedge adjustment to loosen him up. Bill?
It's 2 left side tires and fuel and a chassis adjustment for Earnhardt Jr. This is what we talked about earlier in the race. Can you get it done on 2? Junior said, I'll try, Marty.
Ryan Newman with a hood up on pit road. It is an engine problem for these guys. He said it felt like it lost a valve. There's one whole cylinder. They tried both of the ignition boxes, and so it's not an electrical problem. They had the engine guys underneath the hood. It is not a plug wire. That has not come loose. Heartbreak for these guys. They clearly had a shot at the win. It would have been Ryan's first Winston Cup win, but he has lost at least one cylinder. And a lot of times when you lose one, you lose more. Alan?
Okay, we'll check out the smorgasbord of strategy when we come back to the Michigan International Speedway. Jeff Burton stays on track and takes over the lead in the Pepsi 400 with 36 laps to go. Check the Pepsi race recap now of the Pepsi 400. Little patriotic fireworks to start things off here in the Irish Hills of Michigan today. Caution for Dale Jarrett's wild ride. Off of turn 4, down through the tri-oval grass. He bent up the left front fender coming back onto the racetrack, but they got it fixed. He stayed on the lead lap. There you see the damage. Jarrett is roared back through the field. Move ahead now as Robbie Gordon nips the back corner of Hut Strickland's car, sending Hut into the outside wall. That was caution number 4 of the race. The other 2 prior to that, after the Dale Jarrett spin, were for debris. Then this is Steve Park. 5th caution flag, spinning around and then backing into the outside wall in turn 4. Jerry Nadeau spun behind him, trying to avoid. And the final caution coming out moments ago for debris on the racetrack at lap 164. The strategy smorgasbord we will attempt to tackle for you now. Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, 4 tires. Dale Earnhardt Jr., as Bill Weber called, just left side tires. Stewart and Marlin. Stewart got right side tires. Marlin got 4. And the first 4 cars on the Speedway didn't pit at all. Jeff Burton, Robbie Gordon, Bobby Hamilton, and Derek Cope. You with me on that?
And they're going to get run over.
We'll be right back. Coming to the green in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. 32 laps to go. Some stayed out, some took 2, some took 4.
BP, you took 2.
I took 2.
And I took 4.
You took 4.
I'm coming after you.
All right, you're back in 16th spot with Mark Martin, 17th with DJ. Meanwhile, let's see, I'm Tony Stewart up there in about 6th spot with those 2 tires.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. just in front of him with left side tires.
There you go. I'll be Junior then. How's that?
Okay. It's going to restart 5th.
Great.
Jeff Burton, remember, made a stop earlier. Had to put water in the car.
Whoa!
Jimmy Spencer.
Spencer a lap down. First car 1 lap down. 34th place. Robbie Gordon going to make it 3 deep and try and get the lead from Jeff Burton.
He's going to slide up that hill.
Oh, Jeff Burton's there.
Outside, middle, clear low.
Well, I gave Dale Earnhardt Jr. a great run on those 2 cars in front.
Yeah, that little bit of side-by-side was the last thing Jeff Burton needed if he was going to have a chance. Bobby Gordon trying to come back on Junior.
Here comes Junior for the lead.
Still there, clear high, all clear. Don't worry about that 41 in the last car.
Not clear.
Outside.
I was a little worried there for a minute. You didn't notice that Burton was coming back. Talking about Ty Norris, the spotter for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now you're clear.
So Junior back to the point with 30 laps to go. Dale Jarrett has passed Mark Martin.
Oh, Derek Cope, the 49 car, gets in the wall off turn 2, right in front of Tony Stewart. Tony jumped off the throttle, allowed the 18 car to go by him.
Remember that Derek was one of the guys that didn't pit under this caution. Just bringing you up to speed, Dale Jarrett is the first of the cars with 4 tires now. He's in 15th place. Check it out off turn 2, a lap ago.
And Derek Cope is driving the white and green 49 car. He comes off the corner and just basically got behind on the steering.
Ran out of grip.
Yeah, ran out of grip. I was telling someone this morning, if I could can grip and sell it by the can, I'd be a multi-millionaire.
Ooh, look at this.
Here we go now.
You're already a multi-millionaire. Who are you kidding?
Oh,
that's the beauty of tires. Johnny Benson's got to have 4 tires. No?
Johnny got 2.
Okay.
Let's check it out here. That was for 7th place. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 is 6th. Benson in the 10 is 7th.
I tell you what, Derek Cope in that 49 car still going pretty strong. Even though he's hit the wall and hanging right in there with those guys. What about Benson, Dave? What are they saying?
Remember earlier, Benny, we told you that Johnny reported in the car sounded funny. With those holes in the front where the air comes through on the Pontiacs, they tend to call them nostrils. One of them was kind of clogged, and they cleaned it out, and that seemed to help the motor.
So I had a plugged nostril.
Here's a little decongestant spray there. Benson 2.7 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. Johnny started the day in 35th place.
Jarrett up to 12.
Bobby Labonte digging down low in the green car. That'd be for 3rd place. Not quite. Aerial views here at Michigan International Speedway, courtesy of the United States Army, an Army of one. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
And there we see DJ trying to drive between 2 cars. That is DJ, isn't it? Yes.
Yep. That would be the big brown truck. And he is putting those 4 fresh tires to good use.
He really is up to 10th place already.
I'm coming to get you, BP.
Yeah, looks like you're on your way.
He restarted 17th behind Mark Martin. Past Mark, and now he's on the march here. Johnny Benson next up in front of him.
30 cars. Yeah, I wonder what he might think. He's, well, as high as he was running all day, he may have gotten some marbles cleaning the tires off.
And Tony Stewart drives up between Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Spencer, and does a slide job on Jimmy. Goes by Labonte, takes over the 4th position. Dave, what are you saying to Tony Stewart's camp?
Well, Tony says that car is driving a whole lot better. He had to adjust the car in the last pit stop, even with those 2 tires, to make it turn better in the corner. It looks like it can handle really well now.
Here he goes on Robbie Gordon for 3rd. Stewart's a sprint car guy. He knows how to do a slide job.
That's the spot.
And Jeff Burton trying to come back on Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the race lead.
Little contact down the front straightaway.
I'm impressed that 99 car's got, what, 20 or 20-something more laps on his tires than the guys he's running with, at least his right side tires.
He pitted at 143. Junior took those lefts at 164.
But right behind these 2 cars, Tony Stewart, who looks to have a very good race car right now. This might be my best shot to beat those 4 tires. Might be Tony Stewart.
I'm still running about a half a second faster than you are.
Okay.
So he made it 3 wide.
He wanted to. He wanted to go right through the middle.
Jeff Burton takes the lead.
So what you're saying is you're going to take any 2-tire guy. You're just going to jump shifts.
I'm a 2-tire guy. I told you going in, I'm a 2-tire guy.
Here's Stewart diving top to bottom. Close enough to bid for the lead. Here he comes.
Right down on the bottom of the racetrack. We've seen the 20 car. Oh, a slide job that time. He could not grip on the bottom.
Not quite cleared yet.
Looks like Tony got in turn 3 a little bit too hard and could not stay on the bottom. Had to slide up the racetrack.
Burton hangs on to it.
Pretty fast.
You are quick. Check it out. Dale Jarrett.
Up the 7th spot.
Wally following that 4-tire guy. Here comes Junior back on Stewart for second.
That's what I want. I want to see you guys keep on racing up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday's Busch Series race here in Michigan, a record lead change number. Today, 22 lead changes. 12 different drivers have been out in front.
And there's Dale Jarrett right behind this line of cars.
Blowing water out of the 99 car. Overheating badly right now. Watch on the, let's see which way we'll be looking at it. His right side of his windshield. Not doing it right now, but it was blowing water out a minute ago.
All right, let's take our final.
Never make it. Just you and water.
There we go.
Jeff Burton. Let's take our final commercial break before the checkered flag here. It's going to be a great finish. Stay with us. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Back at Michigan, Tony Stewart trying to get the lead of the Pepsi 400 from Jeff Burton. 17 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line.
And here comes Dale Jarrett on the inside of the 29 car, Kevin Harvick, for 4th position.
4 fresh tires.
Look at me stick down on the bottom.
Not too shabby.
Harvick's not giving him any room. Look at that. He tried to hold him right down there. But Jarrett gets the spot anyway.
Yeah, listen to the guy on the racetrack, Benny. That was, you know, I was on the track yesterday. Why don't you listen?
I should listen to you, yep.
Maybe
Clear low, you need it. Clear low.
Maybe a year and a half's experience has taught him not to do that. I don't know. Bob Jeffries back with Dale Jarrett as his spotter. Radioing those dulcet tones. Here he goes, 3rd place. Car in the wall up in turn 4. Caution is out. It's Derek Cope.
Now you're all in trouble.
Now race back to the line.
Well,
When
Jarrett's
you get here, your car will be gone.
going to run him hard. Going to run Junior hard. No, he didn't.
Wally, in the drivers' meeting this morning, there was extra time spent on racing back to the caution. Remember last week at Watkins Glen in the late laps when Robbie Gordon passed Ricky Rudd racing back? Yeah. David Hoots, in conducting the race director and conducting the drivers' meeting this morning, spent extra time basically admonishing the drivers about respecting the gentleman's agreement not to take positions from each other coming back to the caution.
And I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, you know, to pass a guy racing back to the yellow, that's pretty easy. Anybody could do that. So that's why it is a gentleman's agreement.
So caution is out with 15 laps to go.
Well, I think this is helping Jeff Burton because could he run 57 laps on fuel?
I think his water thing should be more of an issue. I'd like to know what his water temperature is right now.
We heard him tell the crew that we can't make it. It's spitting water out, but it stopped.
Well, and this is going to help it, I think.
Either whatever was causing it to overheat has fixed itself, or it's run out of water.
I don't know how. Yeah, I think it's maybe out of water.
All right, anybody going to stop?
Turn 3. Out. Let's stay out.
Frank Stoddard, crew chief, telling Jeff Burton the plans to stay out.
You got to stay out now.
Stay out. Stay out.
I mean, right now he goes back to 32nd if he pits.
Yeah. As good as those 4 tires have been for Dale Jarrett, we're going to see anybody come in and take tires here?
Frankie? Well, some of those guys back about 15th or so. Jeff Gordon back in 22nd. He might.
He wants to know the same thing we do. He's looking at the opening to pit road. Who comes in? Matt Kenseth.
Waltrip
gives up 12th place to come in.
Ricky Rudd.
Michael Waltrip gives up 15th to come in. Rudd 16th.
I better cut that left rear. Here, right here.
Place, I think it's a good call.
Yeah, I don't know if they can, you know, with Jarrett being up there as far as he is, these cars happen to go all through that traffic. I don't know if they've got enough room or enough time.
So Jeff Burton holds on to the lead. 14 laps to go at Michigan. It should be an interesting little scramble to the checkered flag. Stay with us. Back in a minute on TNT.
The Pepsi 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By Walmart. Always low prices. Always. By Mobile One. The more you know about new Mobile One, the better it is for your car. And by the United States Army. An army of one.
The laps are winding down here at the Michigan International Speedway. Frank Stoddard on the radio to your driver. You told me you have enough fuel to go the distance, but will you have enough water? Will that engine last?
Well, we got enough fuel now, and I hope so. You know, Livonia headquarters are right here, and I'm sure all the engine shops praying for us right now. I got all the Citgo people here from a bunch of board members here from Tulsa this weekend. So been a good day for us either way. You know, we've had a good car all day. It's unfortunate we had a motor problem, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be real interesting here at the end, isn't it?
Frank Stoddard certainly will be interested. They've not won this year, and they've never won here at Michigan, Dave.
Tony Stewart has won this year. He's trying to win again. They made a decision to go for 2 tires, Greg. How do you like your car now?
Car's pretty good. Home Depot Pontiac has been fairly strong all day. We got a little off earlier and raced back to the front. Hopefully we can have it charged at the 99, but the 88 took 4, and I think the 29 did. They're not too far behind, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, the rearview mirror is definitely working. Bill?
With Tony Uri Sr., can you catch the guys in front of you and keep that 88 behind you?
I don't know. Our car's been tight ever since about halfway point. We started off the day with a little bit tight, and we got it too loose. And now his car's got real tight again, so I don't know whether we're going to be able to do anything with them 2 in front of us or not. He said it took off pretty good there that first 2 or 3 laps, and it just started going away. So they cooled off a little bit here. Hey, we're going to give it a shot. That Budweiser Chevrolet hadn't been up front in a long time, and got us a pole, and hopefully we can get by these guys and win this race.
You're counting on your guy, aren't you?
That's right, we're counting.
We've been sitting up here while we were listening to those pit interviews debating the Autotrader.com move of the race among ourselves, and it's probably going to be one of those crew chiefs down on pit road, but which one?
Well, obviously, I got to vote for Tony Stewart. Greg Zipadelli, the move of the race, 2-tire stop, get that track position.
That's crazy, BP.
Okay.
I took 4 tires. That's what's going to do it.
So that's your move of the race?
You got it.
You like Todd Parrott's call.
Todd Parrott's call.
Frankie Stoddard's call to stay out might turn out to be the winning one.
You know, you're right. Those guys, I'm impressed with that 99 car is running so good on older tires than everybody.
11 laps to go. Green is out. Matt Kenseth, first one that took tires on this caution, restarts 22nd. With just those 11 laps to go.
Jeff Burton with the 99 car got a terrific restart and a good run on Tony Stewart. And here comes Junior trying to get by Tony Stewart. They're alongside each other.
Jimmy Spencer, 34th place, 1 lap down.
Look in your mirror, BP.
Outside. Clear high. Hell of a job there, buddy.
Ty Norris, the spotter, talking to his driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and here comes Jared on the inside of Tony.
Burton got a great jump on that restart. Jarrett's going to have to get the whip out if he's going to clear these cars and get up there to the 99.
He had to jump out of the throttle there because of Jimmy Spencer being down on the bottom. He had to get out of the gas or he was going to slide up into the 20 car.
Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte, 5th and 6th place.
And meanwhile, Jeff Burton has pulled away from these guys by about 20-25 car lengths. And look at that. The last time by, Jeff Burton ran 40-50.
That is really impressive. Those guys, I just did not think those guys were going to be able to run that good on those tires. Now these guys are racing as well behind them, but still, while they're racing, he's making ground.
Awfully fast speed.
Yeah.
Slowing down under that caution and letting everybody's tires cool help the guys on the 0 and 2 tires versus Jarrett before?
I think it did, yes.
Kind of level that playing field out some?
Here comes Jarrett for second spot, though. If he can clear these guys down in turn 1 and 2, he might have enough time to catch Jeff Burton. Junior runs him in hard. Clear.
Hugging that yellow line. Second place, Dale Jarrett. 7 1/2 laps to go.
Go get him.
Stewart back by Earnhardt Jr.
Now we'll see when they come by this time, BP. We'll take a look at the lap times between Burton and Jarrett.
Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte still locked up there.
Still running pretty good. Now, I'm about a tenth faster, but...
Talking about Jarrett.
Yeah, I'm making believe I'm Dale Jarrett right now. But I already passed BP, so I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's right. And we can see Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is, as Tony Eury Sr. told us, getting tighter and tighter. Labonte comes up on his back bumper.
By the way, we saw Mark Martin there in the screen, locked up in the middle of the top 10. Sterling Marlin just outside the top 10 in 12th. There you go, speeds at the line.
Jarrett 2 miles per hour, well, a little over a mile per hour faster than Burton.
Knocked 0.3 of a second off of Jeff's lead. The lead was at 1 second. It's now just under 0.7. Harvick on the move. Look at this fight.
They're running hard. But like BP pointed out, Junior cannot keep the car down, although he's in the middle there. But you look at these cars behind him, how much they gain on him right there in that part of the corner.
This is 4th place on back. Check speeds at the line again. Dale Jarrett's progress against Jeff Burton knocked off another 0.3 of a second.
And Jarrett is now only a half second behind the leader, Jeff Burton. Here comes Johnny Benson into that fight.
Benson 9th last time at the stripe.
And here it comes.
Here comes Jarrett. Oh, man.
Jeff Burton riding the rim, trying to protect the lead. Dale Jarrett with the run off of turn 4. Here he comes.
There we go. Here, be smooth now. 4 to go.
New leader, Dale Jarrett.
Clear high. Good job. Be smooth.
Well, I tell you what, that has been a very, very impressive run by Dale Jarrett and that team to fight back from almost at the end of the line, 30th, 35th, wherever they restarted after they spun, to come back and take the lead with 4 laps to go.
8. You're pulling away from him. Take care of your stuff.
It was at lap 12 when Dale Jarrett spun off of turn 4 down through the grass.
Real smooth. Real smooth.
Todd Parrott, the crew chief there, jumping in. He had to make a couple of pit stops under that yellow to get that fender pulled out, and he's charged all the way back through the field. There's Bobby Jeffries, the spotter.
And obviously changing those 4 tires has helped him get through all this traffic.
He restarted 17th with 32 to go, BP, on those 4 tires.
Very impressive. Great run today. Great car today.
Give me 4 all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes 2 will work, but...
And he's checking out.
Like I said, yesterday the Busch Race 4 was definitely the way to go.
Hey, Bill, what was that you were saying about August 18th and Dale Jarrett?
Well, they've only run this race twice before in the history of races here at the Michigan International Speedway. Only twice have they run on August 18th. It was 11 years ago this very day that Dale Jarrett got his first Winston Cup win. He also won on August 18th, 1996. He's on his way again.
Second place, Tony Stewart by Jeff Burton. Here comes Kevin Harvick.
Look at the water come down. Oh, the engine is gone on the 99 car, isn't it, Matt?
Benny, right after 88 passed the 99, he came out and said no water pressure, no water temperature.
That means
half a lap ago he says the motor's broken.
No water temperature, BP. No water.
No water. There's nothing to measure.
Valiant try by the 99 team today.
Yeah, they gambled.
White flag is out. Final lap of the Pepsi 400 for Dale Jarrett.
Burton's car is still running, but it looks like he's going to lose a couple more spots.
Here comes Mark Martin on his teammate for 4th place.
Well, that's pretty good with
Look at that thing go. Championship today going to be virtually a draw. Mark there racing for 4th and 5th. Sterling Marlin right behind him in 6th. Jimmy Johnson behind him in 7th. But this day is going to be all about Dale Jarrett. Todd Parrott made the call. 4 fresh tires with 32 laps to go. He restarted 17th, powered his way through the field, took the lead for the final time from Jeff Burton with 5 laps to go, and now he wins the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. Tony Stewart gets second. Look at him 4 deep back there in the pack. That was for 15th place.
Ricky Rudd was almost in the gravel to take over that 12th position.
It looked like they had a shot at winning the Brickyard 400 in Indy 3 weeks ago. The mistake on pit road, the catch can left in the car after a miscommunication on the pit stop.
I think Burton just blew up. See all that smoke?
Yeah. But he finished 4th before it let go.
Great job, Todd, on calling everything there.
That was a 400-mile engine.
Yes, it was.
Dave, everything went right today in the pits for Dale Jarrett's team. Dave's mic's not working.
Doggone. I wanted to hear what Todd had to say about those 4 tires.
He had a 400-mile microphone. Dale Jarrett's 2nd win of 2002. He also won the June Pocono race. Here at Michigan, he picks up his 4th victory at this 2-mile track. Our Ford no boundaries moment, despite all the talk of the rule changes and so on, the Blue Oval gang carried the day.
And so qualifying was 1 race. That was won by the Chevys, 5 Chevys in the top 5, but the race won by Dale Jarrett in the Ford.
And a salute to the 152,000 here at Michigan today by Dale Jarrett, cooling down before heading into the winner's circle. And really, if you want to talk about the manufacturer picture here, Ford won, Pontiac finished 2nd, Chevy 3rd, First Dodge was 6th. All right, Dave, we got you working now?
Yeah, it was battery. They took off my left rear tire and replaced it. Hey, let's talk to Todd Parrott. Todd, unbelievable. Let's keep walking. You got to get to victory lane, my friend. Yeah. Spin, and then a call for 4 tires that put you back to 17th. You've had quite a day.
Had quite a weekend. You know, we got a great race car, a great race team. Just a lot of emotions right now. You know, we've been through a lot. I had a great car here, you know, the first race back in June, and got a set of tires. Car got real tight, just couldn't finish the thing off. And you know, today I looked up and saw him come spinning through the grass, and it was like I can't believe this is happening, because I knew how good a race car we got. You know, but it's not the race here at the racetrack that I want to win. My mindset, I want to win the race of life right now. And I think some people at home know who I'm talking about. And I just want to tell my family at home, I love y'all very much, and y'all mean the world to me, a lot more than this stuff.
And today a victory, Todd, is definitely going to help. Absolutely. Go to victory lane, celebrate with your driver, my friend. Marty?
Well, Jeff Burton, is there any other word than disappointment? It looked like you had your first win of the season wrapped up.
Yeah, we had a really good car. Second half of the race on, the car was really fast. Before then, we struggled some. Put on tires and drove up to about 12th from like 35th, and then we stayed out. And you never know what was going to happen, but you know, I'm real proud of my guys. Proud of the engine department too. We had a problem all day, but we survived because we were smart. We kept putting water in it, and proud of my guys for being smart and being able to survive as long as we did. Without that, we wouldn't have finished at all. So, you know, there's positives and everything, that's for sure. You know, I won't lie about the disappointment. If you're not disappointed about that, then you don't want to win real bad. But I'm not disappointed in the effort of the engine department, the chassis department, every single group on the Citgo car.
No, it's not a movie set. Smoke still coming from Jeff Burton's car. Lost it coming out of turn 4. The engine finally broke. Matt?
Marty, at times it looked like Tony Stewart was running Terre Haute with the slide jobs that big picture-wise you were extremely happy with today.
Yeah, it was more like the Eldora slide job. It's a little flatter it'd be a Loudon slide job if you pulled a Terre Haute deal, but it was a big point day for us for sure. I mean, we needed this. We had another solid run, so I don't know what happened early in that one run where we lost all the spots. I don't know if I didn't keep my tires clean off or what, but as the day kept going on, we just kept picking them off one at a time, got back up where we needed to be, and really had some good pit stops there at the end that got us some good track position also.
Last 2 weeks, a first and a second for Tony Stewart. Bill?
And here in Victory Lane, Dale Jarrett is unbuckled and is climbing out here at Michigan. The third time this race has been run on August 18th, and the third time Dale Jarrett has won it. It was 11 years ago today in that thrilling finish with Davey Allison. Dale Jarrett was right in the same spot. Now driving for Robert Yates, he comes back to Victory Lane. I know you've had some great days and some wild days in racing. This was a wild and a great day.
It was that. Thank God for a safe race. Thank God for these guys and a great sponsor that I have in UPS. And, man, the engine was incredible. Todd Parrott, who would have thought when I spun out early that we'd be sitting right here. But I want to say thanks right now to some guys 11 years ago today. Got me in Victory Lane for the first time, the Wood Brothers. And might not be here if it wasn't for that they gave me that chance, made a great call. Eddie and Lynn, Glenn and Leonard, entire family. They're like family to me. And now Robert Yates and this crew are family to me. Say hi to my wife, Kelly, and Jason and Natalie and Carson and Zach back home. What a great day.
Do drivers always want 4 tires?
Not always, but I know Michael Walter won the race yesterday on 2. And he did a great job of driving that car, but I felt like that 4 tires was going to be the way to go here. My car was really good there. Had to work hard, but it was really good, and I just knew that was going to be the right call. And when Todd said that, we think a lot alike, and sometimes it bites us when we get 4 tires, but I knew that I had plenty of time to make up the distance.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Didn't bite him today. Jarrett in Victory Lane at Michigan. Alan?
And here's what Todd Parrott had to say to his driver as he took the checkered flag.
Driver, that's what I call drama on TNT today, baby. Great job, guys. Awesome race car. You are the man, baby. Thank you. You are the man.
Attaboy, Todd.
Thank you, guys. God, I love y'all.
All right, check the standings now. After today's Pepsi 400, Dale Jarrett in Victory Lane.
Sterling Marlin comes home 6th. Mark Martin in 5th. And Jimmy Johnson 7th. The top 3 guys in the points finished right together.
Benson, top 10 run from way back in the field. Earnhardt Jr. from the pole wound up 10th. Matt Kenseth, after that final restart, took the green in 22nd spot with 11 to go. Wound up making half of them up.
And Kenny Schrader, 14th place spot. And Bill Elliott fought that car jumping out of gear all day long.
Last one on the lead lap. Sorry, Benny.
And finishes 22nd. Unbelievable.
Last one on the lead lap was Jerry Nadeau in 32nd place.
So you see when Kurt Busch had trouble late in the race, still finishes 39th. So many cars running near at the end here at Michigan Speedway.
Championship standings now. Look at this group. 5 of them within 150 points. Any one of those 5 could lead the championship after Bristol next Saturday night.
And Tony Stewart was talking about he's on 84 points out of the lead now for the NASCAR West Cup Championship.
Join us next Friday night for Busch Series Racing from Bristol at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Saturday evening, it's the Sharpie 500 at 7 Eastern on TNT. Great racing next weekend. Hope you'll be with us. Up next, it's On Deadly Ground on the East Coast and Lethal Weapon on the West Coast. Dale Jarrett spun out at lap 12, damaged his car. The crew got it fixed, made a 4-tire call at the right time, and he powered back through the field to score the victory today in the Irish Hills of Michigan.